hell! Oh my fucking
God! I can't believe it! Willian, of course, has the
fucking score.
Fuck off! Fuck off, man! Come on! For fuck!
2-1. It's the former Tottenham player. Aww.
There's a phrase that's been constantly said in football. If you play for what's on the front of the badge, then we'll remember the name on the back. Roman Abramovich, right, has spent years building this club up. He has built a foundation for us, and this has been ruined by an American owner and a clueless manager. Sorry, I backed Potter, right? I backed Potter. I said, give him a transfer window. Let him build a squad, right?
That's been fucked up today. That's been fucked up. I do not want to go fucking miles and miles to an away day and see Chelsea not even play a game.
Havertz is generational bollocks. Mason Mount minerals, all this bullshit. World class is consistency. Consistency and application. That is why Mount and Havertz have been the two players that have been got at the most, because they start the most and they're the ones that disappoint the most on a consistent basis.
It's spineless. It's passionless. It's cowardly football.
Welcome back to the NordVPN Top 6 show. Chelsea are firmly in the mud. We're delving into that in more detail today. We're looking at the mykhaylo Mudryk deal. 90 million euro package has been offered today. 70 million guarantee, 20 to 25 million in add-ons. The Gunners are about to get their man. And of course, it's Derby weekend. The Manchester Derby first tomorrow. Myself, Kaz here back in United today. We've got a debutant on the show. We've got a City fan, man like Nobbins is here with us down there in the bottom right corner, all blued up, ready to go. Of course, back in the lily white part of North London, Jords is here, aka the Terrace own Tesco's Drake is ready to back his boys. And of course, up in the top corner and center, Auibaeyang and Jessica Black repping Arsenal. And we will be getting onto the North London derbies later, combined 11s, and some big questions for you as well. But first, without any further ado, how is everybody doing?
Very good. Confident.
Sensational.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah.
Come just for a press conference. I'm ready for ready to sort some things out today.
No, I can feel it. I can feel the energy still. I can feel like it's going to be fun this evening. It is. And viewers, of course, we're going to put the talking points up for you to vote for what we go on to next. And the viewers have actually voted for the first talking point of the night to be, and it's actually quite a good one to build us up later for the North London derby. But mykhaylo Mudryk to Arsenal. It is reported, I've seen AFTV and others say that the fee is likely to now be agreed. 90 million package. I'm gonna go Kaz first on this one. 90 million pound. Mudryk, sorry, 90 million euros. Let me get that right for Mudryk. What you saying?
I'm just gonna say it, right, Jess? Right, Jess? Guna Lee, or you, man? Who was right? 90, not even just 90 million, it might be 95. So who's right all along when I was saying around the 88 million? I didn't mean pounds, but 88 million euro fee that I first put about 2 weeks ago. The one that you put up, Terry, remember that one? That one. Well, I'm just gonna say, it's not the point. If Arteta wants him, then he's gonna have him. It's simple as that. I was gonna come on here thinking I was just gonna absolutely go reckless with it, but I'm not, because my manager end up with Weghorst and they end up with Mudryk, and it's just like, if Arteta wants him and he's gonna be overpriced, similar age to Anthony and everything, like, so be it. It's like the party's on now. Look, Arsenal have got money, clearly. They're flaunting it, clearly, and I think he's a great player. I can't lie, even though he has only 50 senior appearances. But it is what it is. It's just, I think it's just the way he plays. I think I was scoping just little segments, little parts of him on YouTube, and I was thinking, you know what? It's not that he's basic. You don't just always cut it right. He does. He kind of looks like Martinelli the way he plays slightly. So, but that's going to be an expensive bench option. And you know what? Good luck to Arsenal, man. Good luck to Arsenal. And I hope that expensive bench option might come to life, because then Real Madrid will take him in a few years. But good on them, man. I can't really say much else. I'm just thinking it's an outrageous price, but it happens to everyone. Look at Chelsea. Look at us. We all overpay, man.
That's the question. Gal, do you think it's an outrageous price? It's 70 million euros guaranteed, so about 62 million pound. And everyone's speculating about what the add-ons are going to be, 10 million for Ballon d'Ors, etc. I doubt anyone's stupid enough to put a Ballon d'Or clause in there, the selling club. It'll probably be based on appearances and goals. That's what most are. But do you think £62 million as a guaranteed fee is too much money for mykhaylo Mudryk?
Understand that we paid 50 million for a center back. So spending what is it, 60 to 70 million to almost 80 million for an attacker is what the price is nowadays. You have to pay what the price is. The price is set by the buyers, not the sellers. So we can't really skimp over what we're going to talk about there. So I completely understand why we have to pay that price and why we're going to have to pay it. Because regardless, if we value the player that much, he might be worth it in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, everyone else got a take on this in the sense of it's a lot of money. Do we think Mudryk is going to live up to that? I mean, when you spend 60 odd million pound plus on a player, there is always an expectation to deliver straight away.
He's hungry.
And especially from rivals, and we all do it to each other. When anyone spends that much money on a player, we all do it where the player's got to deliver. Will Mudryk live up to that pressure?
I don't know if it's just me or anybody, right? Sorry, it's just like the fact what I like about him most is that he's just hungry, innit? And he's already building a bond with the fans that how hungry he is. That's why I like Anthony so much, because he was hungry. It gets like kind of similar, but that's just my final take on the Mudryk thing.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's gonna, say the fee was this and that. Everybody does it. It is what it is. From an Arsenal perspective, he's a really talented young player that was desperate to come to Arsenal. I think what I've seen mostly from rivals is that they're a little upset that there's somebody that's really, really talented that wants to come to Arsenal. And not only that, Arsenal are willing to put the money up and buy him. And that's very different than anything Arsenal have ever done in the past. I think people are really focused on the wrong thing. They're focused on how much he costs and what he looks like on TikTok and all this kind of stuff. Arsenal are moving different. Like January transfer window, really talented player, 80 million pounds, 90 million euros, whatever you want to call it, and an expensive bench option. We're building a squad, which is something that a lot of rivals have talked about. We don't have the same level of player in our squad than we do in our starting 11. And so for me, it's kind of like he's somebody that can obviously contribute in the short term, because let's be real, he's better than Nelson, he's better than Marquinhos, but in the future, he can become something really special. And I think that's what smart clubs do. We haven't spent big money like since Pepe. It's been a while. And so I think it's just something that I think rivals are just ready to get on us because they've done similar things and we've been on them, whatever. But the reality is Arsenal are moving different. I think that's something that people really need to focus on, because nobody thought we were going to go into this January transfer window and drop 90 M's. Nobody.
That's true.
No one.
The one thing I will say is
one more thing that people are forgetting. This whole time since Pepe, let's be honest, how many attackers have we bought in? Marquinhos was cheap. Jesus was cheap. When it comes to even we got Willian on a free. We haven't really dropped money on an attacker. So if we've made all these signings and we've never really dropped money on an attacker, eventually we're going to have to spend money on the position that you have to spend the most money on regardless.
I think we can all agree that he's a talented player, yeah. But I do still think, like, I think, like you said, the market is the market. 60 plus million is what you have to buy an attacker for nowadays. Man United spent 80 odd million on Anthony, and he had what, less than 10 goals last season. The guy barely played, like, so it's just a going rate for talented players. But the one question is, I feel like there was potential better options. I feel like Arsenal still have the striker issue. I feel like Gabby Jesus is a contributor, but I still feel like you should have signed someone that was just a bit more established. But like you said, it's Arteta's signing. It's going to be interesting to see. I think he's a good player, like everyone said. I think he's talented. I think he can contribute. It reminds me a bit of the Arshavin signing when you brought him in from Russia and he had a little bit of contribution. I think it might be similar. I don't know if he's going to live up to the hypes what people have put him at, and I don't feel like he's going to have enough game time battling with Martinelli and Saka for the wings for him to really show the impact this season. But in the long term, we'll see what happens. He looks like a decent player.
Unlike Richarlison, who cost you 60 million.
Do you know what I find interesting? I'm going to speak in a minute on it, but Nobbins, obviously, welcome to the show. Debut on the Terrace. Really good to have you here, mate. What is your take on this as a deal? Do you think it's? I mean, you're obviously in a title race with Arsenal. You're a handful. You're 5 points behind them. Is this something that strikes a bit more fear in you? Do you feel like that extra firepower is going to make it harder to catch them?
Yeah, so I think it's a really clever move by Arsenal, to be honest. I think that you've got to strike while the iron is hot. When was the last time Arsenal were in this position in respect of challenging for a league title. I think for me, what sums it up the best in terms of like the narrative of when is squad depth going to be important in this title race, we saw it in the most recent Premier League fixtures. Man City against Chelsea. City swapped both of their fullbacks at half-time. Pep also was able to swap both wingers. Both wingers combined for the goal. You look at the most recent Arsenal Premier League game. What was Arteta able to do? He brought on a right back for another right back. There just weren't the offensive options on the bench there. So I do think that they overpaying? Probably. But just because you're overpaying for a transfer, that doesn't mean it's a bad transfer at all. And as I said, I think it's all about acting now whilst you're in a good position, because over the course of the season, Arsenal will need to call on more options off the bench. I don't know nearly enough about this player. I don't claim to watch the Ukrainian league as a big advocate, but if he's clearly a talented player for Arsenal and to spend this much money on him. And my sort of thoughts at the start of the season were Arsenal will drop off because the squad depth isn't there. So them adding to the squads is, as I say, I do think that is does make them a bit scarier as a title contender for sure.
Yeah, I think it certainly does. I mean, the money element I love. Everyone knows the football finance is my thing. And I don't know how to phrase this in the right way, but I'm definitely going to upset people. Celebrating not spending money, celebrating having good net spend. It's like you're happy being a brokey. It's weird to me. Who's happy not having money? Or who's happy not spending? It's a weak failures mentality in elite level sport. And I'll give you an example. There definitely are some gooners that if you didn't spend any money, say you walked away and said, it's too much, we don't want to spend more than 50 million in the total package, and then you ended up coming second. There are some that would go, yeah, but we didn't break the transfer market trying to win a title. There's honor in that. There's no bloody honor in it. You didn't win the goddamn thing. The same as when teams come fourth and they're having a banter with their rivals who came second or first. Yeah, but our net spend is we've only spent £6 million over 5 years and we're fourth and you're first. That kind of makes us coming fourth better than you winning the league. No, it doesn't. It means you failed. It means your club either one can't spend like the other team or won't spend like the other team. And a lot of the time it's can't spend as opposed to won't spend. And the irony is this, the teams that spend are the teams that are more consistently successful. So your team being able to spend big money is a sign of your team's not just 1 year, 3 year, 5 year success, but generally speaking is a sign of decades. And in some clubs' cases, over a century of being goddamn brilliant. So yes, celebrate the damn thing. People say to me, there's a comment that came up that said the Anthony deal broke the market. Maybe it did. But I mean this sincerely. If Man United get taken over by billionaires like City have got, plus the income we've got and no debt, I hope every summer when we can buy a £20 million player, we spend 70 million on him. I hope we break the market so bad that nobody else can afford to buy anybody. Because who benefits from that? We do. This nonsense of celebrating your club not spending or mocking others for spending, it's backwards. It's inside out. It's the wrong way round. It's mental. It's literally mental. It doesn't make any sense. I don't quite like, that's not the right word, how Chelsea and City got their money initially. It wasn't the conventional way. But I never bemoaned it because they were just fortunate enough to get it. Like, step up, demand your club spend more money. I think Arsenal spending this money, they should be celebrating it. Any gooner going, oh, but we spent loads on a player, the pressure. You ain't an Arsenal fan. I'm sorry, I'm going to call you out. You ain't an Arsenal fan. Who do you support? Burnley, Leyton Orient. What are you worried about? You ain't getting bankrupt. You've got the richest individual owner of a football club in the league. That's what I read online. Because of the structure of the way City and Newcastle were done, there ain't no actual owner. It's owned by like a consortium. But Kroenke is the richest guy out. What do you think is going to happen? It's mental. Arsenal fans should be celebrating this and rivals laughing at how much they've spent. How does that make sense? Your club spent 90 million euros on a player this window. I wish my club spent 90 million euros this summer. We spent 2.5 million on Weghorst. We've got to play 3 games a week for 5 months. And we bought Weghorst. Like, I'm not going to laugh at Arsenal for spending. It's crazy. It's honestly crazy. Absolutely crazy.
You know what it is? It's as a rival fan, I just can't wait for him to flop. That's what I'm hoping for, anyways. Bro, that's it on my perspective.
Bro, you're right. And this is what annoys me about fans at the minute. They're so one-dimensional and boring. So, like, people go, oh, Terry, why are you accepting when people say that you've been rejected by Gakpo because it's funnier if he flops and he rejected us. If we say we were never in for him and he flops, it's not as fun anymore. Play the long game. There's a super chat here I want to go to. It says, Terry, then how do you explain Chelsea and their spends? I didn't say just spending money makes you successful.
Got to spend it well.
Again, yes, you are. V33, you're being one-dimensional. Spending money and being run well together is almost an unstoppable force. Just spending money and being run poorly doesn't work, aka the Glazers. Being run well and not spending means you're Brighton. So you need two together. Arsenal being run well and they're spending. If you're a rival laughing at that, I'm sorry to say this, but you are an absolute idiot and your parents are going to be ashamed of you. They're going to be, why did we give birth to this fool? You're laughing at brilliance. Imagine laughing at success. It's mad. It's mad.
Terry, before this transfer window, the Kroenkes said that people were saying that the Kroenkes are going to back Arteta to try to actually take this title race serious and get what we need done. So if it means we win a league, I don't think anybody gives a shit that we spent 70 million or 90 million on a player.
That's why Chelsea fans don't care about Torres and 50 million. They won the Champions League with them. It's like, yeah, great, done that.
Exactly. And also, like, in terms of the pressure and all that kind of stuff, what's different that what Arsenal are doing than like maybe some other people that are spending big on certain players is he doesn't have to come in and start. Like, we have Martinelli, we have Emile, we have Saka. So he can kind of be eased in unless one of those players were to get injured within the next couple of games or something like that. He doesn't have to come in, start, and hit the ground running like other players. So I get the whole, like, hope he flops. But I do think that this is going to be a good little transition for him. He can play in different competitions. We're in 3 different competitions. So yeah, there's always the chance that he can flop, but also our recruitment has been quite good over the last couple of years as well.
You know what it is though? It's funny, innit? It's like most teams out of the top 6, right? But there's only a couple that only allow depth. Why are other clubs not allowed depth all of a sudden, right? I'm allowed a 60, 70 million pound player on the bench if so be it. Because my club can afford it, then so be it, right? I think Arsenal getting a taste of that. He's allowed to. What this happens now, it gives Arteta a new tactic. When Nketiah, who's a poacher, right? When he doesn't work out against certain defenses or you're chasing the game, I would say he's a poacher. He's an all-round game.
But Cass, why do you keep mentioning
Martinelli can run in behind. It gives him another option. Now he got different type of striker all of a sudden if he wants to change things around.
Wait, Cass, if it's okay for every team to have one, why do you always bring up Richarlison then? Because we're allowed
because you know what it is. You know what it is.
We can do that too.
I've been consistent with you, Jords, and your team. Your team are pretenders, bro, and you're about to exit soon, and I can't wait for it because you don't
waiting for you, bro.
You don't eat Pochettino golden era that you're somehow still in this mix. Yeah, you've been top 4 for a bit, but so did Leicester get a few seasons where they were around in the top 6.
No, they had 1 or 2 seasons. We've been there for 8, 9 years, 10 years.
On, but Leicester
George, they actually won a league. They actually won something.
Leicester won it, bruv. Leicester won. Do you know what
I'm saying?
The thing is,
and they haven't been in the top 4 since. So that's what we wasn't talking about.
No, I get you, bro. But but you would swap places with Leicester.
I mean, yeah, of course. They've got a league title. We can't really say much about that. They've got a league title. Everyone, I mean, we all would swap places with them. You ain't won a league. I won a league in Harlem, Jess and Egal either. So
yeah,
no, I'm not swapping with Leicester. Okay,
yeah, you would swap it.
I mean, you haven't been in the Champions League for 6, 7 years. So what are you on about?
In fairness,
that was the last season you was in the Champions League. So
in fairness, I think Tottenham. I think Tottenham.
Yeah, they've had 2.
I think Tottenham might switch with Wigan, you know, like they won an FA Cup recently. I'm joking. But I look, a few people saying, Terry, why do I get annoyed? Do you want to know why I get annoyed and angry? And again, I'm going to sound like an old man shouting at clouds. Some of the banter I see online should be bannable. Like, honestly, I keep tweeting Elon Musk. He ain't come back to me yet. Elon, reach out, bro. Dead banter should get you a lifetime ban on Twitter. Laughing at rich clubs spending money is weird. It's weird. It's like if I was a multi-millionaire worth 400 million quid and I went out and bought an $100,000 car, and someone going, "Oh, you wasted your money." I really haven't, bro. There's lots more. It don't make sense. It's weird. It's weird. Super chat here. I want to go to from Michael. It says Football Terrace is #1. Thank you, Squire. He says, love the content. Mudryk is coming. Arsenal are smashing Spurs on Sunday. Keep repping Egal and Jess. Much love, Terry. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that, sir. Chike here says, hello, everyone. How was your birthday, Jess?
It was good. It was good. Thank you for asking.
Cool. I'm going 3-1 City with goals from Gundogan, KDB, and of course Haaland. Rashford will get a consolation goal. Also, Demar Haaland has been discharged from hospital. That's very, very good news regarding that young man from the NFL. Thank you, Chike, and thank you, Michael. Keep those super chats coming. We'll come back to them more a little bit later in the show. Keep hitting like buttons for us as well. Terry, no Chelsea rep today. I was meant to be having Ben on from Chelsea Fan TV. I've got to message him actually. But KJ already sorted out a panel and then it was done. And of course, the derbies are here, but we'll be getting him on early next week because I'm sure Chelsea are going to lose to Palace on Sunday. So we'll get the same reaction then as we did now. This year says, I thought burning trash was illegal, but then I saw the dumpster fire at Chelsea. I mean, that moves us nicely on to the Chelsea conversation. Arsenal fans that are watching, stay with us. North London derby preview and combined 11s coming later on this show. But Chelsea are in a mess. Chelsea are in a goddamn mess. An absolute pile of it they are. And what's mad about it is they're still linked to other players. Simon Phillips, who's very credible in the Chelsea space, has said that Marcus Thuram, and there's a player's name, I'm waiting for it to load, who I'm not overly familiar with. What is his name? We've got to scroll down and see his tweets now. A guy called Noni.
Plays for PSV.
He used to play for Tottenham. Noni Madueke. He's a Tottenham.
Yeah, I never heard of him personally. They're advanced. Sorry, guys. They're advanced in both those deals. So they're signing more players. They've got more coming in Chelsea. But they're in a mess. Nobbins, what the hell's going on with Chelsea?
Well, that's far above my pay grade, to be honest. I've no idea what's going on at Chelsea. I think it's now an amalgamation of numerous issues. The injuries aren't helping. The fact that Potter's sort of been thrown in and needs to be given time and hasn't yet been given the time isn't helping. I don't think Todd Bowley and his mental scat approach, his scattergun approach to signings is helping either. I think that Chelsea could be a very good team maybe next season or the season after. I think they're almost sort of in a transitional phase. When you're relying on like Thiago Silva is like going to be 39 years old next season. We've got two potentially bright young centre halves in what's got Badiashile and Fofana. I think next season we might be looking at a stronger Chelsea, but right now, this season, I think top four is basically done. They ain't getting that, in my opinion. And I think that it's just a case of not a coherent approach in respect of signings, and not really, and also some misfortune in respect of injuries. But yeah, I think, to be honest, there are far too many issues at that club for me to even begin to delve into. The fact that Potter's now, when he's trying to change the system, he's trying to change the club ethos. You got apparently got very toxic players in that Chelsea dressing room. That can't be helping with Potter being the new manager. Lots of question marks about whether he can handle big egos, etc. And for example, the Auibaeyang one, I don't really get that one because evidence shows he's an incredibly toxic individual. We saw it at Dortmund in his latter days. We saw it at Arsenal in his last days. Arteta wanted out, and he quite rightly kicked him out. And now, when Tuchel's still in charge, toxic dressing room. Oh, thinks Todd Bowley, I know what to do. I will add an incredibly toxic individual into that already toxic environment. And then you add all the other issues I've just talked about, and you add on the fact that Graham Potter is in his first very big role. And the fact he's got to change the whole way they play. So lots of issues in some.
This is beautiful. Can I just say this has been beautiful.
Yeah, I'm loving it too. I can't lie.
Like, the downfall is amazing because all we heard all summer was, oh, we're getting ready. This is Potter Ball's incoming. We're spending 250 mil, all of this rubbish. And we warned them, you're signing a mixture of players that are very young that aren't really ready to take on the Premier League. Then you're signing players that are very old that look like they're past the Premier League, and they're still, like Nobbins said, it's just a scattergun approach. At the moment, they're just signing a bunch of players that don't really look like they match the system that he's trying to implement. And Potter doesn't even know what system he's trying to implement. They all look a bit confused. He's playing different squads and different teams every game. He goes from a back 3 to a back 4, to a midfield 3 to a midfield 2. Like, there's just constant changes in this team, and you can really see that there's a lot going on at the club that no one has a clue. I feel like you can tell it's being run by Todd B, a man that's never been in football. And the signings, like you said, Marcus Thuram doesn't worry me. Noni Madueke, he's a decent player, full of injuries, and he wasn't never the star at PSV. I mean, Gakpo was a star, and you saw him. They come and took him away. And
sounds a bit
he's
familiar,
just not
doesn't
an
it,
amazing
Jords?
player. So they're not making amazing signings. They're not looking like a team that's going to be a threat. And the only thing that worries all of us rival fans is, when is the budget going to stop? When is the spending going to stop? Because they can keep spending, and it's obviously going to go somewhere eventually. But right now, no, I'm not worried, because it's just a mess.
Yeah. I think George makes a good point, is that every time that they're like, well, Chelsea's signing somebody, I'm like, so? Like, it's like, João Felix looked good last night, but they have some Arsenal luck going on over there. That game yesterday was something I've only seen from Arsenal, a la 2018, where you have a new player comes in, red card, boom. You have more injuries. One of your best players to come in, that was a loan signing, gets injured as well. It just looks a mess, and I'm just like, until it starts to look like something, I have nothing to fear at the moment. They can keep buying players, but there's a lot going on there. And I think ultimately, if you look at it and you take your bias aside, it's like new ownership that doesn't really know what they're doing, scattergun approach, new manager, a bunch of players that came from different regimes, and it's not going to go boom like that. But in the meantime, I'm going to laugh, because they have been like one of the most arrogant fan bases for so long. And for them to just go poof like that in the middle of the night, where are they? Where are they?
How does it go,
I used to remember the days where there'd be mad Chelsea fans on this
how does it go,
show.
Jess? Jess, how does it go? It goes what?
Like what?
How does it go? How does it go? Poof. What?
Like poof. Just like that. They're gone. Like, it's crazy. I love it.
You know what it is? The funny thing is, Jess, we're on the same stream in the summer, and we're telling them, you guys need a rebuild, and they're saying, no, our rebuild is not the same as your rebuild. Where's my guy David? I missed that guy. I haven't seen you in like 3 months, David. You guys
David, Daniel.
All of them.
I don't know why, but I've got a soft spot for Chelsea though, and Graham Potter. I think it's really unfair what fans are doing to him, because he ain't spent yet a penny under. I know it technically he has on Badiashile, and they got João Felix on a free. He's been thrown into this mess. It's going to be hard to get out of this mess. What does it sound like exactly? Remember when Arteta first came to Arsenal, right? It's a bit similar. I think results are a little bit similar too. I just think it's really unfair on him, man. I think these Chelsea fans are just being spoiled for way too long, and all they keep doing is talking about Roman and Tuchel and the past. But what does that sound like? It sounds like Man United. Like, it's like, bro, stop thinking. Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. I think, look, if that was me, I have to put myself into that situation now, right? So if that was me supporting that club, or if that was happening at Man United, which it has, I'll be like, bin them all. Because I believe in the manager. I do believe in Graham Potter, but maybe he might be out of his depth that little bit, because maybe you need a better manager you have to get the best out of this group. But I'd bin them all. Honestly, if I could this summer, I'll bid at least half that team and just go from scratch. And he's like, look, it's going to be rubbish, but you're going to have to wait, mate. You might have to finish 8th this season, 9th, but then you go again. It's just the way it goes. And these Chelsea fans, it's like, there's no point crying no more.
I hope they finish 8th,
something everyone's
because they were
forgetting.
the most annoying when we finished 8th, and 5th. You finished 8th and 5th. I hope you finished 8th and 5th.
They're gonna finish 10th, Jess. Forget 8th. I was just gonna say this: Todd Bowley is 100% to blame for what's going on at Chelsea at this moment in time. Because we can blame the players, we can blame the managers. He came in and took everything and started from scratch. He got rid of all the people behind the scenes. He's gotten rid of the manager, and he's gotten rid of a lot of players have had to go and come back. So you can make fun of the players, you can make fun of the manager, but the owner has come in and he's basically started the whole club from scratch. Hence why the guy doesn't know what he's doing. And him running the club the way that it is, he should have maybe done it a little bit slower. He should have maybe eased out some of the Roman people instead of just coming in and getting rid of all of them. Because now he doesn't have the support of the people who were there originally to help him guide them out. And I think that's the main issue. They don't have any consistency or continuity from the players, the managers, the people in the back, and that all comes down to the person who owns the club.
All I would say about... Oh, sorry, Terry, go on.
No, go on, mate, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, just to cast a bit of hope for Chelsea fans, all I would say is that there's a clear, whatever you think of what Bowley's done so far, I think it largely has done a poor job, but I do sort of admire the sort of change in ethos and emphasis, because under Abramovich, essentially it was, I want to buy ready-made player who goes straight into team and is world-class, and we can win titles immediately. Bowley clearly is doing an approach of buying younger talent. I don't know what the average age of the signings is, but they all seem to be quite young. The idea being for future long-term development. So I think that if you're looking for a silver lining here, it's not going great now, but I mentioned earlier, maybe in a season or two, that Chelsea squad might be looking much healthier.
Yeah,
Let me give
they'll
you an
come back.
example. At Man City, did your owners come in and change everything? The manager, some of the players, and even the backroom staff in one go? Isn't that ridiculous?
Oh no, it is. Yeah, I think that as I say, Bowley definitely made some mistakes, and City made lots of mistakes when they got taken over, like splashing, allegedly trying to sign Kaka for an outrageous amount, actually signing Robinho for an outrageous amount, ditching Mark Hughes when he didn't necessarily deserve to get ditched. It took City a couple of years to.
Mate, so you are spot on, and I mean there was so many in the early years of City that there was the situation with. A very bad email that was sent to Neda Anua's mum, I believe. You're probably familiar with that, when she was suffering with a bad illness. Like, there was loads of bad shit that happened there, but you just forget. Like, people forget because it was 15 years ago and social media wasn't as prevalent. And I would say this about what Chelsea have done. Like Arsenal this season, I've said Arsenal will have a really good year. They've been even better than I expected. I've always said with Chelsea, in the medium to long term, I think they're going to be okay. There may be a bit of a drop-off. The drop-off has been bigger than I thought it was going to be. But my mentality towards them and my feeling towards them hasn't changed. I think that the reason that he got rid of the backroom staff and even Thomas Tuchel, I agree with you, Agal, that in the short term it's bad because you don't have anyone there that's experienced. But if you've got an ideology that you want to instill and the people that have to run that for you completely disagree and are not bought into it, you can't have them run it. And if you ever are lucky enough to run a business and you're like, right, guys, this is the plan, and the people that are going to run it for you say, we think that plan's shit, you have to get rid of them. And in the short term, things can get really precarious, really difficult, really hard, because you have inexperienced people. You have this mixture of different, employees and staff and business plans all happening at the same time. And it takes a while for things to settle, get ironed out, for the new processes to be put in place, and for quality to be seen on the other side. And I think that this is where Chelsea fans have got to relax on the sack Potter. And Carefree Lewis, for me, gets this spot on. It's players more than anybody else. I think the ownership, you can moan at them all you want. They can change their approach. They ain't going nowhere. They're not selling the club tomorrow, right? Todd Bowley's also if you actually look at who Todd Bowley's employed to run the club, there's some real experience in there. The problem you've got is, as Nobbins has said, Auibaeyang's a prime example. I think Kai Havertz is a problem now. The guy does not want to be there under this manager. Jorginho, man signed to play Sarri ball in 2017, and he's there now playing for Graham Potter. Like, there's so many things wrong with that club. And I actually think in this January, they're signing all these players. I think they also have to make a couple of big sacrifices. If they could find a buyer and go, Kai Havertz, you're done, as an example. Jorginho, you can go now. We'll just pay you your contract up and get you out the club now. I think they've got to make a few sacrificial lambs, as it were. Because if you look at Man United and Arsenal, they're both on rebuilds. Arsenal's is complete now. They're challenging for a title. But look at the sacrifices made by managers to help get you where you are. The players that he had to, by the way, that half your fan base said were wrong at the time. There were people saying getting rid of Ozil and getting rid of Auibaeyang is going to ruin you, right? People in your fan base, you definitely said that.
Ozil, definitely not, but Auibaeyang, yes.
I remember seeing the debates of people that didn't back Arteta saying that's how can he get rid of him, creative. But if we take away Ozil, definitely Auibaeyang, people said that. And I think the same's going on here at Chelsea, but there's a bigger mess. And the bigger mess is that it isn't just the manager they got rid of and a few players. The ownership had to change, and it was a snapshot change. Their change went through much quicker than most club takeovers. Why? Because of what was going on with Ukraine and Russia. And I get for Chelsea fans, this is painful. Because the younger ones, especially, they don't know this. This is not, when I grew up as a kid, me and my big brother, we remember when my family had no money. We were dirt poor. My dad's business started to do better and we had a bit of money. My younger brothers, they kind of only remember my mum and dad having like money. And then we weren't rich, just they had a little bit of money, right? And then my dad's business went through a little bit of turmoil and there was a couple of years where it was a bit tight. Me and my brother were cool with it because we grew up like that. My little brothers couldn't cope. My little brother couldn't cope with the fact he couldn't have 2 new PlayStation games a month. He thought that was like abuse. He's like, this is outrageous. And I'm like, and I was like, bruv, we were lucky if we got a new games console. Like, we got a games console at Christmas and games. We didn't get new games for 2 years when we were kids, 3 years maybe. Now, by the way, this is still first world problems. I will point that out. People around the world don't have clean water. I'm not moaning. When you're a kid, your brain don't work like that. But this is how I feel what Chelsea fans are going through. They don't understand what transition is because they've never really seen it. And it takes time. And they need to stick with Graham Potter. They need to stick with their plan. But they need to get rid of some of the poisonous players in that dressing room. Because if Auibaeyang and Jorginho and a few others that don't want to be there go, you'll see an instant uplift in other individuals because you set that marker that shit, we can't take the piss here. We don't rule the roost. You saw it at Man United. The fact that Ten Hag won the battle against Ronaldo, there's been an uplift from people because if Ronaldo can't win the fight, no one else left at the club's winning the fight. Ronaldo's Ronaldo. Even Piers Morgan couldn't save him. But yeah, look, Chelsea, it is definitely a mess right now. I get why you would call out Todd B. I understand that completely, but there's so much going on there. I just don't think it can be resolved quickly either. It's just going to take time.
The fans have to have patience or else they're not going to be able to last this whole season. Have patience, get ready. You're going to finish 10th. It's a bad season. Get used to it. That's it. Simple.
Yeah, and they've got to take the banter on the chin. That's the hardest bit online is taking that banter. I mean, you're going to get it. You are now, I would say Arsenal can hand that crown over of Banter FC. I think that Chelsea certainly own that from a top 6 point of view.
I think you have to hand it over, Terry, because you had it last.
No, Man United would never Banter FC.
Pretty sure you were, but it's okay.
We might have been once at some point. Yeah, I think.
No, I don't even think we were.
I think last year. I think was it last year?
Back end of last season, I definitely think.
Yeah.
Beginning of this season, Terry.
Maybe we'll give the crown.
We'll hand it to Chelsea.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, that was an opportunity for you guys to laugh at them. If you ain't got it, you can't laugh at them.
Why are you smiling, Jords? You've always been Banter FCs. That's locked and loaded, G.
Yeah, Tottenham aren't big enough to be Banter FC. That's the problem.
Let's do something.
No, I've been seeing
you guys hear all this chest. I really don't get where Man United fans get chest. Like, you've been above us for a couple of weeks. All of a sudden,
that's
ironic. Like, we're big. We're back.
Where do we get chest? I'll tell you where we get chest, brother. I'll tell you where we get chest. Most league titles in England. 3 Champions Leagues, 13
How long ago, Terry? Terry, you keep talking about your childhood. You keep talking about 10 years ago. We're living in the now. We're living in the present.
You say we're living in the present. So how many trophies you won the last decade since you had facial hair?
Again, let's live in the present. That's why we're living in the present, Terry.
So in the present, we're above you in the league.
In this year,
right now, we're above you.
Past decade.
Hang on.
Again, you've been above us for 2 weeks.
So
2 weeks, Terry. And all of a sudden, you're smiling.
In the present, we're above you, and that's too soon. If I go back more than a year, that's too far. You want to go back?
As I said, no. I said you've been above us for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden, you guys are.
We've been above you for 130 goddamn years, brother. 130 years.
Again, Terry. No one cares about it. I was talking about the present right now.
You do.
George.
Sorry. What do you mean you don't care about the past?
Because I'm living in the present, Terry. We're talking about right now. We're here to talk about this weekend. We're here to talk about what's happening in the Premier League this season.
The only fans that don't care about the past are clubs with very little history.
We have a history.
The same as the only fans that don't care about like winning trophies are clubs that don't win trophies. It's madness to me, George. Madness.
I mean, again, we have trophies. We're one of the only 2 teams on this panel that have European trophies.
Wait, George.
George,
what trainers was you wearing when your club last won a trophy?
Bro, do you not realize Man City?
George is young. George didn't say nothing. That's what George was probably in. 1 second ago. George was probably wearing like Next baby booties the last time. That's the way he had in his feet back then. Definitely. Are you 21, 22?
Nah, a bit older than that, but MX 90s. That's what I was wearing.
MX 90s.
That's what we were rocking those days.
Nice. What are you going to say, Gal? You were saying something there, bro.
It's gone.
Man was wearing boat shoes, bro, back in the school times, man. You know the ones that can give you the dirtiest curlers that go top bins? That was what you was wearing, George, man. Secondary school.
Gal, you don't have a European trophy. I'm sorry. We don't count
that. Actually, and so do Man City. There's something called the Cup Winners' Cup.
I was going to say, City also have a European trophy.
Listen. First of all, the last person on this whole panel who should be bragging about trophies is Tottenham. So be quiet.
I'm sorry,
And
Gal, it
second-
doesn't exist.
And second of all, you're barking up the wrong tree trying to battle with Man United. You're moving.
I'm sorry,
mad.
Gal. Again, the Cup Winners' Cup trophy doesn't exist no more.
Listen. Let's go back. I don't even want to do this without.
It doesn't exist, bro.
If we go back to the summer, the madness you were saying, my guy.
What was the madness?
Calling Richarlison R9. Maybe that's tongue in cheek. Saying you are more attractive
Okay.
than Man United and Arsenal.
No, he was talking about Basuma this, Basuma that.
Basuma versus
Like-
Partey. What happened to that? Oh my
Guys,
god!
again,
Guys,
it
we'll
was
come,
relevant.
guys, we're going to come back to this. We're going to come back to this in the North London derby debate later in the show. We're going to come back to it. Viewers, hit the like and the share button. Subscribe to the Football Terrace now. Get that done. I want to say a big shout out to our title sponsors today at NordVPN. Now, one of the reasons that I've started using Nord over the last, you're getting towards a year now, I've been using them as my VPN provider. I use a lot of public Wi-Fi when I'm out and about traveling, and it's very convenient, as you know. However, it's not very good when it comes to security. Your personal data, whether you're at an airport, whether you're in a local cafe, restaurant, whatever it may be, your personal data, like your name, date of birth, your bank details especially, are always very, very vulnerable indeed when you are using the internet when you're out and about. You should be using NordVPN, turning your VPN provider on when using public Wi-Fi to ensure that all your data is protected, that your browsing history is absolutely secure, and all of your passwords, most of you will save your passwords on your iPhones or your Androids or your laptops, or get with Google, etc. It makes sure that all of that is 100% encrypted and protected at all times. Now, I know you're all on the internet always, because you're always watching the Terrace, you're watching other content creators, plus doing other things when you're out and about. Make sure you're protected. Make sure your information is being looked after at all times. Now, we can give you a 30-day money-back guarantee with the Football Terrace by clicking on the link in our description below or scanning that QR code on the screen above me. There are many other things that there's money-saving techniques we've shown you before with train tickets, airline tickets, streaming football as well. But it's very important to make sure your data is protected above and beyond everything else. And one account you sign up for means you can secure up to 6 devices on one account. So you can do your iPhone, your laptop, your PC at home, smart devices, and much, much more for as little as £2.87 per month. So go and get yourself signed up. It's cheap. It's really cheap.
Yeah, it is, man.
And trust me, if you've ever had your personal data hacked, little things about getting hacked, and I knew this from banking. If you have someone try and commit fraud against your name, like, that means you can't, even yourself, even if you can prove it's fraud, you still go on the fraud list. You ain't getting no mortgage for like nearly a decade. Like, you're in trouble. So protect yourselves right now. Very, very important indeed. The viewers have voted for the next talking point. The Manchester Derby's here. And I'm very excited about the Manchester Derby. We got battered. We got battered by the boys in blue at the Etihad a few months back. Haaland hat-trick, Phil Foden hat-trick. It was painful. It hurt. It nearly made me cry. How are you feeling about it, Nobbins? I mean, it looks like a different Man United now. It is at Old Trafford. You guys have been dropping a few points, losing a few games. How are you feeling about the match tomorrow at lunchtime?
Yeah, so in terms of the fixture at the Etihad, I thought that was going to be quite a close affair. I think that United run a relatively decent run, and that's not what happened. But I do think this is going to be a very tight game. I honestly think that Guardiola might even take a draw, to be honest, because we're not even halfway through the season. I understand that Arsenal are currently 5 points ahead, but we aren't even halfway through the season. So I think that Guardiola wouldn't be too against the idea of drawing. And I don't really know how I feel about it, to be honest. This City season has been very hot and cold. At the start, they were genuinely brilliant, blowing teams away, and then there were some lackluster performances just before the World Cup, which I put down to World Cup tax, such as the Fulham game just squeezing over the line, like the 95th minute with a penalty, and then the awful, atrocious defeat against Brentford, just getting outplayed by Brentford and Tony especially. And I thought, maybe it's just down to the fact some players got their eyes on the World Cup. But then the World Cup happened, and we come back, and it's an awful display against Everton. And we've just seen the most recent, even against Chelsea in the 1-0, that wasn't a great first half. And then most recent against Southampton, maybe the second worst game I've ever seen under Guardiola at City. Not an ideal preparation for a Manchester derby. So that can go one of two ways. It can either kick them up the arse, basically, or they can just all feel sorry for themselves, and it's going to be an awful game. But the way I see it going is City will have basically, not all of it, but they'll have like around 65 to 70% of the ball. United will look to play on the counter, primarily with Rashford, and it's just a case of whether City can make sure to not lose the ball in midfield, as they have done recently, because then they get exposed in transition.
Who do you think Pep starts up top with Haaland?
What's that, sorry?
Who do you think Pep will start up top with Haaland? Because he keeps.
Oh,
changing.
in terms of the front three, I think that Haaland definitely. And Pep does this thing where he likes to play Grealish and Mahrez in the bigger games. The reason why he does that is because he likes wingers. He likes those two because they're less direct wingers, and they're able to. And with those wingers, City are able to keep hold of the ball more, and they're able to keep the control of the play more. In the bigger games, he has done that. I think it was in the Newcastle game where City drew 3-3, and it was a crazy game, and Guardiola lamented the fact that Grealish was injured, and he basically said, I really wish I had Grealish to slow down the play. That didn't happen. So I'd like to see Foden start. Mahrez will definitely start. I'd like to see Foden start on the left, but I suspect, I do like Grealish a lot, but I expect that Grealish will probably start on the left, given his focus on wanting to control. If it was at home, I think Foden would start, no doubt, but it's at Old Trafford. You need to control the play with Rashford. So that's my prediction.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it's such an intriguing game. Kaz, obviously, you'll be at the game tomorrow. I mean, there's a lot of United fans online that have been talking very confidently going into this match. A lot.
You know what? Let me just put it this. Yeah, Ten Hag said famously, all errors must come to an end. And it might be one of those parts where that error might also be coming to its end at some point. I don't want to overstate it, but it does happen, man. The guy's got 2.5 years left in his contract. There's those, you know he's not going to extend past that. Look, I'm not actually scared of them tomorrow. I'll be so honest. And it's not even from overconfidence at this point. I just don't believe in this City team, and I just believe in my team. It just comes as simple as that. I should be scared. I should be worried. But I just have an odd feeling that this City team just is not gelling as well as we thought it would be. We all thought they were going to bounce back after Everton, Brentford. You know, we do the same thing to Arsenal. Every next game, but next game. But I've been waiting for that for City. I've been waiting for them to the next game to play well. Yeah, they had that thing against Chelsea, but even Fulham are beating Chelsea. I'm not even trying to hear that performance. It's like beating Bournemouth 9-0 or something like that from Liverpool, thinking they're back. They're not. It's just, I don't know. Like, wasn't convinced against Brentford before the break. Then you had against the Everton game, there was a blip. There was the Southampton performance, which was not that great. The Chelsea performance, first half, parts of second half, not really convinced by them at the moment. And I just think it comes maybe from a lack of, I don't know, maybe more directness from the wings itself, which I'm just trying to compare this a little bit more to previous Man City sides. I'm not really scared of this City side, generally down to the fact we've got Casemiro playing. I think Wan-Bissaka's also going to play as well, so I can imagine that side's going to be locked down. The only issue I have, though, is Eriksen or Fred. So I think if Eriksen plays, we get overrun in that midfield, you might as well kiss it goodbye. And I get it, you want to be productive, go forward, but let's be honest with ourselves. Eriksen hasn't been the best either. So he gives away the ball a lot, right? I'd rather stick Fred there. I think we can stick to our guns. But then I got another issue now, which is making me just that little bit less confident again now, is if Martial's going to stay fit, right? So he picked up some sort of knock, and he trained today, but he might only play like 60 minutes, maybe done individual training throughout the week. Now I'm running out of patience with this man, because I'm a big supporter of him, but it's at the same time, I need to think of the team first as a supporter, right? So it all depends down at tomorrow. If we can get 1-0 by halftime, I think it's game over. Man United, after halftime, haven't lost in about how many years when they lead at halftime. So after that, it's going to be counter-attack C. Don't mind me. Yeah, I think it's plus 40 years or something we haven't lost since we lead at halftime at Old Trafford. So you bring in your Garnacho, who I think is better as an impact sub. I don't think they have John Stones tomorrow either, which I think has been one of the best defenders really this year alone. John Stones. That's going to be a big miss. I think if I'm correct, Nobbins, Ruben Diaz is a doubt as well. So you might be seeing a Laporte and a Kanji. I'm not really scared of a Kanji. He's saying all season got a mistake in him. Look, we can always go back to the part where we lost 6-3. But back then was back then, and that was in the early reigns of Erik Ten Hag's tenure. I think Man United have won 8 on the bounce, since the defeat or to Aston Villa, and a lot of them being clean sheets. I have every single right to be confident going to that stadium at Old Trafford. I'm not saying it's a fortress yet because you need to do it for a consistent amount of time, right? So no losses like Liverpool or even at the Emirates at the moment. It's just a fortress. You don't win there now. So at that point, I think we're building something great, and I have no reason to be scared of Pep. And I just think he's just going to do one of his overthinking things again. 2 days ago, I would have said something completely different. I was like, yeah, 1 goal will separate for me. I don't know. I'm gonna say it might be about 2 goals. And look, you can disagree with me, call me delusion, whatever you want, but I just believe in my club and I believe in my manager, just like you lot believe in your manager to get you out of the rubbish. And if there's anyone that can get City out of the rubbish, out of any manager in the world, it's Pep. So, and who am I to, doubt Pep Guardiola of all the managers that ever existed, right? But I don't care about that. Because Man United are coming back. We're gonna win a trophy this year. Slow times are creeping, and we're gonna go back to that time where all you man are gonna hate us again. And when you start getting the hate again, like Arsenal fans again at the moment, you're doing something right. You know that for a fact. I'm just saying. I just think maybe I'm a little bit overconfident, but I just believe.
Is Kaz overconfident? Are Man United fans overconfident, Igal?
No, do us a favor. Beat City, then lose to Crystal Palace. It's fine. That's typical Man United. That's what's going to end up happening. I can definitely see it. It's written in the stars. But when it comes down to the Manchester derby, I do think the fact that you guys are on such good form and Manchester City have dropped points against. Sorry, forget about dropping points. Getting knocked out against Southampton in the cup is gonna have them thinking in the back of their mind what's going on. And Pep has come out and questioned his team's work ethic or their hunger or desire in an article that I've seen this season. So you might have the mental edge over them because at this moment in time, Man City just don't seem the same. And Manchester United seem like they're all together. Everyone's pushing the same direction. So based on that alone, I give Manchester United the edge. And I think going into this game, it's going to be a tight one. I think Man United is going to win.
I remember Cass going into the last game talking about how they were going to beat them, and then the same
last season.
No,
I never. You never, because I got it well documented, Jords, that I said I think I'm going to get a draw. I had some false confidence.
You said you're going to get a draw or you're going to win, and that's what you said. You're going to get a draw or you feel very confident you might get a win.
You're well acquainted with that. You can go check
it. And the time before that, the same thing again. So Man United fans can go into this game feeling as confident as you want, but every time it's just a schooling and a beating by City. Whether the scoreline was 2-0 last time round, it was an absolute beating. The last time round at the last year, and then obviously this season, we all know what happened.
But that makes no sense, George, because you always say this time it's always the same. There has to be a point where it stops and changes. Like this time, like you say, when you go to your NLD derby, right? You're gonna say, yeah, but Arsenal never beat us at Spurs. But you go to the Emirates. Did you not say you was going to go to the Emirates? Wait, did you not say early in the season you was going to go to the Emirates and win? Oh, but this time round, this time round, bro. What about that, bro? Things change.
Sometimes things just don't change, and the things stay the same. And Man City schooling Man United of the recent past, it stayed the same. The same thing's going to happen.
On that point, though, in the last 3 years, we've played each other 9 times. It's 3 wins to United, 4 wins to City, and a draw. It's this notion that they beat us every single. The last 3, yes, they have beaten us in. There's no doubt. But equally, like 2 of those games were during Ollie about to be sacked and the situation was happening with Ralph Rangnick. And look, City for me, I think nobody would be shocked if the bookies had them as favourites for this game. They're Man City, they're champions, they're still seen as the best team in England. And of course, that they can beat Man United. Of course they can. But I think people denying that there hasn't been an improvement at Man United, they're not playing, they're acting like we're not playing better football. By the way, what we did to Tottenham at Old Trafford a couple of months ago, like we destroyed you. Didn't just be the only thing that was embarrassing that day was the scoreline should have been 5 or 6, and it ended up only being 2-0 to us. We should have put more balls in the back of the net, and that will be our biggest downfall tomorrow. If we play well against City, my fear is that we don't take enough of the chances. City have a robot, an enigma up front where they could have a terrible game and still beat you 3-0. They've got the ability to do that. They haven't been doing it, but they can do it, and it's a derby, and form goes out the window. But I think United should feel an element of confidence going into this game. And in fact, that's what did us at the Etihad. We had 0 confidence on that ball. And I'm taking nothing away from Pep, nothing away from City. They deserve the win. But I feel like we're the only team that City, and I might be forgetting a few games in the Prem, where City have looked scintillating this year. City have struggled against most sides that have put their foot on the ball and played football, and they've been gettable. And that would disappoint me more. I don't care for anyone's banter. If we don't go out there and give them a game, I'm going to be more annoyed at my football club than anybody could ever banter me. Because most teams have made City think, even in games they've won recently, and I expect us to do the same thing. And the midfield battle is going to be amazing. Can Casemiro and co stop KDB? What's Rodri going to do to the likes of Bruno? Can Rashford be stopped at the moment? This guy's scored in 8 games on the bounce at home, 6 games in all competitions. He's the highest goal contributor in European football since the World Cup. He's on fire. There's so many sub-stories to this match. And the biggest one that nobody's really talking about is if Man United win, should they be considered just in a title race?
I mean, maybe. It depends on what happens with Arsenal. If Arsenal win, then I still think the gap it'll be the same. And what is the gap? 9?
Man United and Arsenal are 9 points apart. Obviously, you're 5 in front of City. But obviously, if we beat them and you win, you'll be 9 in front of us and 8 in front of them. So if Man United are not in a title race, does that mean that there is no title race? Because City are only a point. That's my point. Like, if City
you would be in a title race, but I would just say that, like, usually you start talking about the race being a race and, that kind of stuff when the teams are, like, really, really close. For me, an 8-9 point gap is pretty significant, so it's kind of like, okay, how many points would Arsenal have to drop? Not really dropping points, this and that. But I think Manchester United fans already feel like they're in a title race. They just need one win or so. And then they'll just say it. So it's not really up to me. I feel like what Manchester United fans need to do is be brave and just say it themselves. Because if I'm 9 points clear of you, I don't think you're in a race with me. But if you think I'm 9 points clear of you, but you think you're in a race with me, then just say it. I feel like that's more.
And that's fair, but I want your take, because I get what you're saying. You're putting it on United fans, but you're saying no until United are 3 points behind or whatever. Like, you're saying it can't be a title race until you're in touching distance.
No, I mean, I would include them with Manchester City and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying that, like, I don't know. It'll feel a little bit like, okay, I would feel like we're in a world all of our own if that happens, to be honest. Like, I would feel like we're kind of like in our own world, but that's just me.
But I think that, but I get where you're coming from, and I'm not disagreeing. I'm just playing devil's advocate. That's why this weekend for me is the most significant weekend of the Prem so far. If Man United win and Spurs win, suddenly there's 6 points between Man United. Arsenal are 5 points behind, and then Arsenal's next game is Man United. There's pressure. Equally, like Man United and City draw and Arsenal win, suddenly there's a big gap between you and City again. United are even further behind. There's so many eventual outcomes this weekend. I think it makes it very, very exciting indeed to say what's going to happen. But
I agree though, Terry, but we'll do as a football club right now to get through January with the Nottingham Forest game on top of that. We'll do so well to pick up points at Palace. Luckily, they're really bad at the moment, and we can rotate decently at that to potentially go smack them. If Tottenham can do it, we can do it. Like, I think anyone can do it at the moment. I don't think Palace's home form has been the greatest, but I think we'll do extremely a bit. I think we'll be overdoing it if somehow we did manage to get past January itself, because then February is a little bit, you could say, easier on us in terms of fixtures. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna beat Arsenal. There you go.
Wow. Well, that's a week's time. We'll be building up to that this time next week. Nabil here says we are not in a title race. Terry fan, we please clip these Arsenal fans. Egal all that chat on Twitter. I'm saving that today. We have Egal and Egal 2.0. I don't really understand what you're saying.
He called me Egal 2.0 for my segment earlier. Yeah. I spud that, man. I don't mind being called Egal, man.
You're my guy still. Listen,
you can be Egal, I'll be W Egal. Yeah, safe.
This super chat says, I mean, a draw between City and United will do Arsenal good. Yeah, I mean, it gives Arsenal a little buffer in the Spurs game then, because obviously you want to win, but then a draw in your game means it's as you were through this time period. So it's going to be intriguing indeed. Sorry, someone's going to say something. I thought someone was about to say something. We're going to have a little look at combined 11s. We're going to come back to some of these super chats a little bit later in the show. Most of them aren't related to the United conversation. This one, it kind of is, from Elite Pundit that says, if United spent 90 million euros on a kid from the Ukraine, everyone would scrutinize it. It doesn't mean he's bad, but he isn't guaranteed to succeed. The failure rate of young talent is pretty high. Skepticism is natural. Now, Elite Pundit, I get you on that, but that's why I love being a Man United fan, because what you're saying is facts, but it's because we're the biggest team in the world. So, like, embrace the banter. The banter means you're relevant, it means you're huge, and it means people care. And I'd much rather be bantered by everybody than no one care about my team. Imagine no one caring about your club doing poorly. That would be a bad place to be in. But maybe that's nearly 40-year-old me looking at the world very differdifferently. Sorry, go on.
I'm pretty sure everybody gets bantered when they sign a player. And
yeah, I mean, Man United. Again, every club thinks they get it worse than everybody else as well. I mean,
no, you know what it is? People are miserable, bro. You're not allowed to enjoy things these days because people on Twitter are just miserable people that have always negative stuff to say all the time. You can never enjoy the simple things. But it's up to us rival fans to put you down that little bit. But to the point, they take that extra step.
It's fun. I mean, I put a picture of my hair transplant from 12 months ago till now. And people are like, oh, when did you dye your hair ginger? I'm like, well, I ain't ginger. But you guys will met me by one of you. Like, there's it's not ginger. It's just like blonde. Like it is. But you know, like there's
Strawberry blonde, yeah.
There's people who's a little bit. You're more ginger than me, Kaz.
My dad is a strawberry blonde. Like
your dad's a ginger. Nice. Nice. I ain't used that word in years. A ginger. A ginger is like it's a southern word for ginger. You call someone a ginger. You know what I mean?
Fairs, man. That's funny.
We had a guy at school. He was called the Ginger Minger because he weren't very good looking. He had like bright red hair, like real bright. We used to joke. We used to cry a lot, and we used to say, "Oh, do you cry red tears?" Weird stuff you'd say as kids to people. He was a nice lad, Anthony. I hope you're well if you're out there, my bro. He was actually my cousin as well, but I never told anybody that because I didn't want to be connected to him. Like he was like loosely connected, like a third cousin or something. And I was like, "Yeah, he ain't my cousin. We ain't got no. What surnames you got? Ain't mine. Do you know what I mean?" He ain't my dad's brother's kid. Anyway, combined 11. Who's in goal? Who is in goal in the Manchester combined 11? David De Gea or Ederson?
Ederson.
De Gea.
An easy choice.
De Gea's been on way better form this season.
I didn't realize it was still 2015. Like we like to play up from the back nowadays.
Yeah, but it's not my fault. Your manager decides to put a midfielder in goal.
My
keeper actually can save shots.
Everton's goal, and that's why De Gea is not starting in that goal. Sorry.
Yeah, but Ederson's made. I swear it wasn't long ago where Ederson made an absolute howler of a blunder. Like what?
How long ago was that? When's the last time Ederson made a really?
No, I just think De Gea's been actually on fire this year, and he's actually been distributing the ball decently fine as it goes. If I'm being honest,
he's not distributed well at all. Early on in the season,
yes, he has been, bro. I watched the guy live. Like I see it. Like I can see it. You don't have to watch the highlights.
So let's vote for this. So again, who else is saying Ederson?
De Gea.
So we've got 2 for De Gea and 3 for Ederson. Oh, I'm gonna be shameless and go for David De Gea. Viewers, the next 10 votes, split it. So viewers, you get to decide here. Whoever can type the name in quicker, I'm gonna count the next 10 that come through. So I'm waiting for the first one I see. I'm waiting for you to type. I just need the name. No one's put one in yet. All right, so I've got there's that. Okay, whoa, wow. The first 10 have come through. Here we go. So De Gea, Ederson, De Gea. I'm on to 6. Ederson's won. Ederson won it. There we go. Cool. I'm gonna be.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at it though.
I'm gonna be fair. Ederson won that. Left back.
I'll just put our fullbacks in already, man.
It's got to be Luke Shaw, hasn't it? This year,
easy.
And form on ability, everything. It's got to be.
Cancelo, he just stinks, bro. That's what happened. You know what it is? You know what happens when foreign players come over to England and they won everything, they've done what they achieved. They use not all of them. Typically, they just lose interest. I think Cancelo's just lost interest. I'll be so real. And you can say that for a couple. Bernardo Silva's lost interest. Mahrez has easily lost interest, and you can't deny that either.
But we're not doing this combined 11 based on the pure form of this season, are we? I was under the impression we're doing it on the quality of the player overall. And the fact of the matter is that Cancelo's arguably been the best fullback in the world the past 2 seasons.
No, it's got to be this season.
Well,
because
we're basing it on. No, what I said we'll do is it's going to be half on their overall ability and half on form. So like that way, you would
Yeah.
factor in.
So
Yeah.
Cancelo wins this matchup based on the overall ability of the man. As I say, he's been the best fullback in the league, in the world, arguably the last 2 years.
Luke Shaw's actually left-footed. I'm having Luke Shaw all day long.
What you going with,
Yeah.
Jords?
So Sergio Gomez, he's left-footed.
I can't lie. Nobbins did just make a great point that Cancelo has been amazing all the way prior up to the season, I think. So I'd have to go with Cancelo.
Miguel?
in.
Gone back in Tottenham later.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Cancelo.
Jess?
How many votes is it?
If
3.
Cancelo gets your vote, he wins it.
Oh,
But then
don't
we're gonna
tie
put
it.
the whole City team in then, no? Because they won the last 2 leagues or so.
This is
That's
the
not-
way.
That's
This is
not
the way.
my problem.
This
That's
is the
not
way
my
this
problem,
goes.
Cass.
This is the way
I
it
tell you,
goes.
this is rigged, man. This is
Wait,
rigged.
it's not supposed to be fair, Cass. It's about who's best. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
who's your player?
Bit of
I
democracy.
mean,
I'm not even
I
gonna
mean,
buy
I
it.
don't know. Luke Shaw's been good, but I think at the beginning of the season, he wasn't even playing. Like, he's been good for like, what, 10 games or something?
Well,
But I'll
So
put
what
him
you
in
going
there
with,
so he
Jess?
won't cry.
yeah.
Shaw.
You go with Luke Shaw. If you going with Luke Shaw as well, I'm going with Luke Shaw just because I'm backing my player here. Luke Shaw has got into that team. Left-sided centre back. It's got to be Lisandro Martinez.
You said overall Billy. I don't know about
Laporte.
Lisandro Martinez beforehand because this is
Harry,
what
how
I'm
did
saying.
Luke Shaw get in when it's 3-3?
How can it be 3-3? Oh, it is 3-3.
Yeah,
yeah,
I went
isn't
with
it?
Cancelo.
Oh, yeah, you did. Then
Chat.
viewers vote then. Viewers vote. Sorry, my brain went at a kerfuzzle then. Cancelo do get in. Okay, there's someone super chatted for him, so we'll put Cancelo in. I'm cool. Okay, look, maybe doing it on both overall abilities is making it hard for everybody. Let's do it on this season then. That way, it seems like the viewers would prefer that as well. A lot of people saying base it on this season, so we'll change that just because of the way it is. Sorry, I picked on the wrong person here. So Cancelo can go in. Although if we say this season, then we are going to put Luke Shaw in. But we'll leave Cancelo in because we voted for it under that remit. We won't change it. Sorry, I keep hitting the wrong thing here. So left side is centre back. What are we saying?
Martinez.
Yeah.
all agree on that one.
And what about right side is centre back?
Johnny
John
Stones.
Stones.
John Stones.
Yeah.
John Stone's been better than Varane this year.
100%.
I can't lie.
100%.
I think John
Well,
Stones
that's
has
the
been
thing.
immense this season. Like barely put a foot wrong. Yeah,
Although
I'll
he's
give
gonna
you.
miss the
I'll give you.
button,
I'll give you. I think Varane is up there, like with centre backs top. With Saliba and that. Not Romero. Don't try to say that. Don't sneak that.
Give it
Don't
to
you
the-
dare. Don't you dare. But Stones has been. Yeah, I'll give that to you. I think he's been
And right back,
Not a City
Walker.
player.
Delo.
then Delo. It would have to be.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'm not
By
going to put him
default.
in. I'm not going to throw him in, but I'm going to say a big shout out to AWB in this festive period because he's coming from the start. He's been good. He's been good. He's come in and defended well. He's not been used as an attacking fullback, an inverted fullback. He's done well, like at defending, which is actually his job. But yeah, the logo's in. So far, viewers, that is the team as you can see on the screen thus far. Edison in goal, Lisandro and Stones in the middle, Cancelo on the left, and Delo on the right. Midfield, who's going into the first midfielder? Just pick a midfielder. Who are we going to go with? On the
Casemiro.
right.
Don't even tell me Rodri this season. Give me. I want
What?
Casemiro.
What? Wait.
Wait, why would we
What?
say not Rodri just because Casemiro exists
Because
in the
I'm
league?
putting Rodri up to his standards.
Because you've
Casemiro's
watched
been better.
Casemiro this season all of a sudden.
Oh,
you
yeah,
started
no,
watching him,
yeah,
and now he's been
exactly.
better
I'm
than
not gonna
Rodri,
back
who's
up,
been the
bro.
best DM in the
Casemiro,
world.
Casemiro is different. Great night. It's not just. It's what he's done with the team at the moment as well. As soon as he's come
Cass,
in,
you're gonna
But
vote
we
for a
didn't get-
City play. You're talking
Wait,
about being fair. You haven't
has
voted for no
Casemiro
City
even
play.
lost a
You're just
game
saying
other
why.
than Villa this year? No,
Rodri's even been scoring goals.
no,
Rodri's
Rodri
adding a
hasn't.
bit
No,
of goal
because I'm
contribution. He's
considering
literally the
Rodri.
cog to that midfield.
I'm keeping Rodri to his standard of Rodri. What I know, Rodri, he's pivotal to that. But I think
Rodri's
Cas could be
level
even
hasn't
more
dropped.
pivotal.
Has Rodri's level dropped?
Casemiro's just a better DM than him.
So let me make this easier than us all arguing. Who's been the better DM this year, Jess? Rodri or Casemiro?
I would say Rodri. He kept it. He's kept his levels, and his level is the best in the league.
I agree.
Gal, Casemiro or Rodri? Who's had the better season?
I think Casemiro has had the better season based on the fact that he's been the shining light in that Manchester United team. Rodri's just been consistent, not taken away from him. But to me, Casemiro has been stealing the show.
Okay. George did it again for Rodri. Cass is going to go for Casemiro. I'm sure Nobbins is going to go with Rodri.
Rodri's the best defensive midfielder in the world, but we're basing it off this season. I think Casemiro's been better.
Wow.
Yeah, I like you.
I'm also going to go Casemiro. I think that George made a good argument about goals, but Casemiro scored 2 very important goals for Man United as well this year. I think he deserves to be in the team. Right hand side of the midfield, we all going KDB.
Oh yeah.
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 I think we're all definitely going to go Kevin De Bruyne in that. He's had another very good year in the Prem. Obviously, if we're voting for the World Cup, he'd be on the flops, but the Premier League has been great. Left hand side of the midfield. It's a tough one because Foden can't get in the team. You know, Eriksen's done well. You've got Bruno that's playing well. Gundogan, I mean, I haven't really heard too much about him this year. I mean, who would you put in from a City? Is there a City player you'd put in there, Nobbins?
If I can't have Foden on the wings, Foden has to be in the midfield. That's what I'd say.
I would go for that as well. The extra midfielder that they've been playing this year inside for, I would say so. Just edging it. Bruno's played well though, I'll be honest, but you can't put 2 Man United midfielders in there. Not
If
for
this
me
was on
anyways.
ability, I would have gone Bernardo Silva. But based on the fact that it's not, based on the fact that it's on this season, I guess we gotta go Foden.
Bernardo ain't been great this season. Not for his
No,
own.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Based on the fact that it's this season, Bernardo automatically is out of the.
I'll say Gundogan as well. He ain't had his
Foden's been
greatest
firing.
thing, but
You
it's
can't
just
leave him out of
the positions he picks up.
Couldn't we do a midfield 3 of Rodri, Casemiro, and KDB? Because Casemiro has proven he can go forward with the
4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1.
He could do a 4-3-3, but with Casemiro,
I'll go.
I'll say so. I'll say so. I'm happy with
I
that.
kind of feel about that third position. You've got Foden and got Bruno you could put into it, but neither have been as good as Casemiro or Rodri this year. So maybe if we just do them 3 as the midfield, it doesn't have to be overly.
That makes sense.
Good shout.
Yeah, double pivot. That's the best.
What an amicable negotiation this is. Wonderful.
I know. I'm just look at that. People say I'm biased towards everybody. I'm not. I'm never biased, really. Look, let's just get the easy one out the way in the front 3. Haaland's a striker, right? Like, there's no point even debating that.
I still feel like it's pretty easy.
Who goes on the right hand side?
Mahrez.
For him, what? Bro, he's had.
Mahrez has been amazing.
Wait, you know what? Nobbins. I think
Hello.
he can tell you correctly how great Mahrez has really been this season.
Yeah, he has been great this season.
Oh my god. I was like,
just
Garnacho's played. I swear, Garnacho's probably better than him this season, and he's just come on the scene.
But Mahrez started playing really well after like the World Cup. That's when he really came in. Remember, we were talking about festive periods and stuff like that. That's why people are talking about, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So I think if you're good for like 5-6 games, like other players that have kind of gotten this team, Camp Mahrez as well, because Mahrez in the festive period for Manchester City, I think has been better than Antony.
I would say one. I would have Rashford in there, either left or right, but I'd also put Grealish in there. I think Grealish is being fantastic.
Why would you put
that.
Hang on a minute. Why would you put Luke Chadwick in this team?
No, because
Chadwick
because I think a lot of people base.
Jack Grealish slander won't be tolerated.
So no.
Luke
I think a
Chadwick,
lot of
Luke
people. I think a lot of people look at Grealish towards his goals and assists, which he's actually been adding towards lately. It's just his all-round performance for City. Other than the first couple blips, he's actually carrying the City team a little bit when he's driving up.
You know what you've been indoctrinated by? You're indoctrinated by eye test. Even when he's bad, he looks good. Like he looks good at being bad at things.
Because I can't think. You know what it is?
You know what he is? I'll give you an example, Kaz. Sorry to bring this to life. You got 2 men in an office. Okay, one looks like Brad Pitt, the other one looks like a walrus, but they both speak to women in the same way. One will get called an harasser, the other one gets called cute and funny. That's what Jack Grealish is. Jack Grealish is that guy that looks good doing bad things. He does almost nothing for you guys. Doesn't really create. And when he doesn't have the big boys on, like the other day against Southampton, he gets exposed. He is £100 million flop, Jack Grealish. And for City, he'll win trophies. But so did Luke Chadwick for Man United. And he did almost nothing. All he is a very good looking Luke Chadwick. That's it.
That's not true. Jack Grealish is literally our best player in respect of carrying the ball and progressing the ball.
Yeah, it's what he does. It's just that as well. I can't put Foden there at the moment, but I think he had a great start to the season. I can't put Antony there because he's been injured and he's got a couple handful of goals. I'm not really happy with his overall performances. I've liked Garnacho, to be fair. And I'm just not having Mahrez in there because Mahrez has not, in any shape, way, or form, been better than Jack Grealish this season. So I'm in a bit of a conflict here. You know what? Why not put Elanga in it?
Elanga.
You hate Elanga. Why would you?
Yeah, I know, exactly.
I'll make this, Nobbins, I'll give you this prediction about City. Right now, because you're winning, you guys won't care too much about he's underperforming. But Liverpool fans did this with Firmino. And it was like, oh, he's the best defensive striker in the country. He carries the ball. He links this up. When they started to dip and they weren't winning, suddenly they noticed. If you guys go trophyless this season, you guys will start to criticize him. Jack Grealish gets carried by the performers in his team that deliver for you. He gets away with it on that left-hand side. But let's just do the PR for him is insane. That someone said that.
I got one more then. What about Alvarez? I think he's been very decent this season. He's got them some crucial goals as well. In some, I think he's just been better. I just think he's just had better overall performances, and he has played right wing this season as well. I would settle for that.
So who are we getting on the left? Rashford.
Yeah.
It's got to be Rashi. He's one of the best in the world right now. On form. Be very specific in terms of saying that. On form. Loving it. Oh, the right. So Mahrez, Grealish, or Alvarez?
Foden. Foden's
Yeah,
played
Barnett
on the right
Foden.
quite a lot this season. If he's not in the midfield now, we can pop him on the right.
I'd stick Foden in. I shouldn't say it, but I do like Foden. So that's our team. That's a combined 11 for the Manchester Derby people, as you can see. Edison in goal. Right back of Delo. Centre back pairing of Lissandro Martinez and John Stones. Cancelo. Cancelo. Should we change Cancelo? Because we changed.
Can we change it? Yeah, please.
We change him because Luke Shaw should probably be in that position for this season, as it were. Lukey Shaw's going in there, as you can see. Midfield of Casemiro, Rodri. We'll put Casemiro out onto the left because he can go forward. He's better on the ball than Rodri. And De Bruyne. And then up front, Rashford, Haaland, Phil, Foden. There is the combined 11. I mean, if I could make one personal change, I would put in Varane, but that's just me maybe being a little bit pernickety. But there we go, people. That is the Manchester combined 11 ahead of the derby tomorrow. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. Ensure you're scanning the QR code that's just above my head around there to sign up now to NordVPN to protect you and your personal data, bank details, passwords online, fully encrypted, and 6 devices available for 1 account. And we will give you a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can test it and try it. If you don't get on with it, you can always get a refund if you need to. But up next, the big one, people. The big one this weekend. I'm excited to talk about this because my team is not involved. A question here from Joshua Jack. He says, how the hell is Bruno Fernandes, who has created the 3rd most chances in the league, not in this team? Is what Joshua Jack says. Really good point. I think he was on the edge. He's on the edge of getting into this team, Bruno Fernandes. But City are still City underperforming is still one of the best teams in the world. So it's very, very difficult indeed. But thank you for that super chat, Joshua Jack. The North London Derby is upon us. It's going to be an intriguing afternoon. I'm hoping for a nice win for United tomorrow so I can enjoy the North London Derby with no pressure or no stress or no angst. But the North London Derby's coming along. How are you feeling about it, Jords? Because you normally beat them. However, this is the best Arsenal in maybe 18 years. Spurs have been dodgy for a while. How are you feeling, Jords, ahead of this big tie this weekend?
As I was doing just I just had to dust myself down because this is just normal business. This is everyone making this seem like it's a massive game. Arsenal, a new Arsenal, we've changed. They're doing this, they're doing that. Heard the same things when they came to the lane last season. Legal was telling me it's different. It's top 4. We got this team, we got that team. These players are ready. And they crumbled under the pressure, the atmosphere, the day under the lights. It's going to be the night under the lights on a Sunday at 4:30. It's a late kickoff. They're not going to be able to handle it. The young boys are going to come into that stadium. They're going to feel the pressure. They're going to feel the atmosphere. And they're going to crumble yet again. Form goes out the window. We all know that in this North London derby, regardless whether we go to the Emirates, whether you come to the lane, form really just doesn't matter. Because we all know that the stats have shown whoever's the home team wins. Arsenal haven't won at the lane in almost 10 years. Tottenham have beat them in the past consecutive 3 home games. The one thing that Arsenal fans, we can guarantee is that there's going to be goals. You will not stop Harry Kane from scoring. So the question really is how are you going to stop us from battering that defense and showing you what's going to happen when you come to the lane, like it always does. There's going to be a red card and it's probably going to go to you guys. You got how many players that are one game away from suspensions on yellows? You got a lot of players that are going to be edgy. A lot of players that, yeah, they've got about 4 players that are on literally one yellow card away from suspension.
Do your math.
Yeah.
Do you?
Can you tell us if can you tell us?
One of them is
I'm
an
pretty sure
attacker.
there's
It's
more,
Saka. The other one is
I've
Saliba.
heard
We have
more.
2, not 4.
I'm pretty sure there's another one. I will double check, but I'm pretty sure there's another one.
There isn't.
But
I would know
still,
better because I am
there's
an
a few
Arsenal fan.
players. There's still a few players. Saliba, a young player that's going to be feeling the pressure at the back line, defending one of the best strikers in the world. We'll see how they cope with it, and we'll see how they handle it. But they're not going to be able to stop Harry. They're not going to be able to come to the lane and get points because they never do.
All right. So here we go. You did this before, and you got
was right.
wiped. No, earlier
No,
this
because we're talking
season.
about the lane, Jess. We're talking about the lane.
Okay, I
Speak
hear
different.
I hear the lane and all this kind of stuff. What I'll tell you here right now is we're leaving there with something. Whether it's 1 point or 3, we're leaving there with something. I'm sorry, Crystal Palace has got you guys all, thinking you guys have changed. Crystal Palace is horrendous, and you guys weren't even good in that game. We are not Crystal Palace, okay? We're going to go there, and we're leaving there with something. You're going to get your honorary penalty. You're going to get that. Harry Kane's going to do his week celebration. We know that. But Arsenal, I mean, we are different this season. We're different where we're going to get a result. We're going to get something. I'm not going to go up here and say we're going to wipe the floor with you guys because it's going to be too close. It's going to be the North London Derby. It's going to be what it is. But if you think that with your bad form that you guys are just going to wipe us off, that pitch, you're deluded. No way.
He's back as well, right?
Well, what is wipe us off that pitch? I'm not being funny. Look, we all know Arsenal are going to come into the game and dominate possession. Do that. That's great for you. Like you did at the Emirates, and we noticed that the game in the Emirates. Like I said, if you really watch the game, we broke through that high press time and time again. But the one thing we was missing was sharpness. The players in the attack just didn't look ready.
You guys weren't good enough.
Harry Kane is in top form. He's in top form. You cannot stop Harry Kane.
You don't have any players
regardless of Crystal
that are on
Palace, regardless
top
of anyone else, we've shown that we are the team to be at home. You have to come to our ground and you have to win. It's the title challenge. The pressure's all on you. You guys have to do the business. And we're having all this pressure. What it does to your team is it crumbles. And I know that you guys are not leaving with nothing. Like, I'm so confident in this game. I'm not worried. It's normal business when you come to the lane. Arteta's never won a game at the lane. He doesn't get points at the lane. So we'll see.
This is so funny. First of all, confidence is quiet and arrogance is loud. And I feel like you're doing a lot of, you never get anything. You're not going to get anything. You're rattled. You're rattled. I'm sorry.
Rattled?
Don't look confident. You don't look confident. I'm sorry, because anybody who's realistic about this game would know that, because you're not in form. You're not in form, and you're saying all your players are on form. Harry Kane is the only player that you have that's playing well right now.
I never said all of our players are in form once, Jade.
Jess. You said a lot of your players are. Well, what did you say?
I didn't say a lot. I didn't say none. I said Harry Kane is in top form. I literally specified Harry Kane. All of my argument is run the best striker in the world.
Harry Kane, then what happens? If we shut down Harry Kane, what happens?
You don't. Literally, he's the top goal scorer in the North London Derby as a whole. You will not shut him down. He's got 9 goals in the last 8 games we've played. When are you going to shut him down?
We're okay. I think he's going to get a goal. I think he's going to get his penalty. I think that's going to happen. We are leaving there with something. And you will come back on this show and you will apologize to me for what you've said, because you said a lot of nonsense and a lot of nothing. Because you are not
out here trying to celebrate a draw. You're potentially trying to out here celebrate a draw. We don't do that.
Oh no. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Celebrating a draw is not. I think we're going to leave with something. We just cannot lose this game. That's where we are. We're in a title race. You guys are what? Looking for top 4 or something like that. So yeah, actually, you guys need to win. We just need to make sure we do not lose this game. Now, I think we're going to go out there and try to win it, 100%. But as long as we leave there with something, you are wrong, sir. Because you act like you're like.
No.
You really act. You really out there acting like you guys are in good form.
You've got a defeatist mentality before the game has even started. That's
No,
the
I
problem.
don't.
Is Arsenal in this big title challenge, talking about one of the biggest games of your season. Literally, this is a game that can be like a moment defining, because I'm not being funny. You have quite a few period of hard games. So does City in the next 4 weeks. So it's going to be a big moment, and the start of that period. This is a massive game for you. You need to win this game. Stop talking about we need to get a draw. We need to leave with something.
No,
You
I
need
said
to
we
win
need
this
to
game.
get something. I didn't say we need
Again,
to draw.
you need
Hello.
to draw or win. That's what
Hello,
you're
is
saying.
anybody
You're
there? I
accepting
did
the draw
not
before the game's
say.
already started. You're accepting the draws, Jess. That's the point.
I'm not accepting the draw. I think we're going to go out there and try to win. But the reality is that we know that this is a North London derby. The statistics don't look good in our favor, but we are not going to leave there with nothing. And you know, just as you probably don't know this because your team has never really been in a title race. I'm sure this is new to you. But when you're at the top and you have difficult games, especially away from home, you want to win them, but you just don't lose them. And so what I'm saying is we're getting something. And I'm not going to just celebrate a draw and be like, oh my God, we drew, blah, blah, blah. But you're going to be out here looking crazy because you guys are not in form. Okay? Like, I'm sorry.
I'm going to interject here. I want to hear from, we've got a lot of super chats coming in. We are going to come to all your super chats. We've got about 17, 18 of them starred for later in the show. We may put some up, but we'll speak about them all a bit later. But Igal, how are you feeling ahead of this? Obviously, Jords and Jess having their to and fro there, but are you confident? I mean, I don't know the last time you won at the Lane in the league. I haven't gone and checked today. I don't know the top of my head, but it's been the best part of a decade, I believe.
Terry, history is meant to be broken. I don't know. We had this against what do you call it, Liverpool this season at home. We've had a bad record against them for the last couple of seasons. What did we do? We beat them. What did they do? Liverpool came to their house and beat Tottenham. Also, another team that we beat this season that ended up taking points away from Tottenham at home, Aston Villa. Guess what? We faced a team that's actually better than Tottenham at our house, and they got a draw from us, which is Newcastle, who also beat them in their house. This is a team, Arsenal, who is the best team in the league, second best defense, second best attack, one of the most informed team in the world. And this guy, Jords, you think Tottenham's going to be able to do anything against us? Honestly, I get it. It's derbies, form goes out the window. But personally, I am more confident than ever that we're going to go to that North London derby and come out of there. I agree with Jess. We're going to come out of there with something. I don't even think it's a situation where we're saying, you know what, we've been there before, where we've gone gun-ho and lose games, like early in the season. I don't think mykhaylo is going to make that same mistake. Maturity in this team, maturity in the manager, maturity in the team. You're going to see a situation where Tottenham are the team that loses their heads. And you're talking about players on yellow cards that could get sent off. Guess what? Harry Kane gets a yellow card. He misses your next game versus City. Personally, I hope he doesn't get that yellow card because we need you to do us a job against Man City. Because guess what? You're not going to this season. The only thing you're good for at this point is taking points off City because that's the only thing you're going to benefit anybody this season.
Agal, whether Harry Kane gets a yellow card or not and he misses the City game, I could care less. If that means that we drop points at home, away at the Etihad, we're not going to go to the Etihad confident anyway. I mean, City at home are a very good team, so it is what it is. But let's be real, Gal. Again, all this about change. You gave us the exact same speech going into the game at the Lane last season about how this is change and how this team is different. And Arteta, let's be real. And as you've seen with any manager, he can try and change his tactics as much as he wants. But Conte is as stubborn as you can be, and he's going to force your team to play football. Sure. He's going to force you to play that high press, and we're going to catch you on the counter.
Yes. You're not going to force us. That's our game. How are you going to force us to play a game that's ours? What are you saying? Force us to play away.
Understand what I'm about to say. Understand what I'm about to say. This is your cup final. This is the most meaningful game that you're going to play this season. Nothing is going to be more meaningful.
So what's more meaningful to you? Because again, you're in a supposed title challenge.
You're
in a supposed title challenge.
1 second.
Once you finish second or third, what happens to that title challenge? You're the same as finishing top 4, bro.
You have nothing to play for. Your season is an utter mess because Arsenal are above you. Even if you finish in the top 4, you're going to be miserable because Arsenal's above you fighting for a league title.
The funniest thing is
it's 100%. No, Agal is cooking. saying
above us?
the-
How many
the
times?
pinnacle
How
of
many
your
years has
season
it
is
been
Jords
there?
above
It
us.
doesn't matter if
It
you
is
come
so.
second. It doesn't matter if you come second.
Gal, you
You're
have hair on your
miserable.
head the last time you finished
miserable.
above us.
Your team,
You probably had a full
your
outflow.
manager, you have a toxic relationship with your
We
manager.
finished
You're
above
not happy with
Arsenal
some
at
of your
the
players.
You haven't finished
You're
above us
begging-
in
you're
years.
begging
And
for
now
money.
you're talking about going above us and it's our only trophy.
1 second. Let me finish.
This is
you.
the
Let me
only
finish
trophy
this
you're
off.
winning this season. Is
Humiliation
finishing
factor.
above Tottenham.
1 second.
The
Let me
only
finish.
trophy you get is celebrating Tottenham Day or whatever that can potentially happen. That's the only trophy you can win.
1 second, let me finish. It doesn't matter because you don't know what trophies are, first of all, and second of all, when it comes to this season, your major accomplishment is beating Arsenal at home. You have nothing else to play for this entire season. You're not winning.
So
an
what are
FA
you
Cup,
playing
you're
for,
not winning
Gal?
a
When you
Champions
don't win the
League,
league,
you're not winning
what
the
is your
league.
total
You
accomplishment?
might not even get top
Gal,
4. What do you
Gal,
want?
What is your accomplishment this season when you don't win the league?
We are
Answer that
fighting for a
question.
league title.
What is
We
your
are
You know what our
this
accomplishment
season
is? Wait, hold
when
on.
you
You know
do
what our
not win the
accomplishment
league?
is? Even if we don't win the league,
Answer it.
we're in
Wait,
a better
answer the
position
question.
than you in
Answer
your
the
golden
question.
era. In
What
your
is your
golden era, you
accomplishment
won.
We're in
this
the
season
January
when you do
window.
not win the
Right,
league?
I'm stepping in now. Right, I'm
We're in the
stepping in.
January window. What are they going to accomplish?
Wait,
in
no,
January?
Terry. I need them to answer that
Who are you
question.
going to sign?
What is their
Where's the
accomplishment when they
money?
don't win the
Everyone
league?
slow down. Everyone slow. George, what was the question? And they can answer it. I've got to take
What
control
is
now.
their accomplishment this season when they do not win the league? What all this all about title challenge,
might
and
do.
title charge, just for you to finish second? What is your accomplishment going to be?
We still have a better chance of winning a cup, which is the Europa League. And
You know
Answer
what
the
my
question,
accomplishment is?
Agal.
I'm not a Tottenham fan. I can laugh
Answer the
at that
question.
and drink to that
Answer the
till the
question.
day, the day I
Listen,
die.
George,
That's my
George,
accomplishment.
guess what? We have a winning pedigree. You don't know what that is.
Oh
You don't know what that
no!
is.
Yeah, you're the team that's bottled the title more than anyone
in
else,
our,
Agal.
one
Have you
second,
lost? Have you
even
lost?
in our banter era,
How many times have
even in
Arsenal
our
been
banter
top of
era,
Christmas
I
and
still
never
seen
won it?
armpits. I still seen people lift trophies, even in our banter era.
Arsenal
I
are
will
literally
never
the club to
I
bottle
will
the
repeat this
title the
again. I'll
most.
repeat this again.
Out of any
I'll
team in the
repeat
Premier
this
League,
again.
you've bottled the title the
But
But
most.
you don't have a title to
I
bottle.
will
That's
repeat
your
this again.
problem. You don't get it. You don't have a
I'll
title
repeat
to
this again.
bottle.
You are
Celebrating
going
title
nowhere.
All right,
races now.
guys, I'm going to interject because there's three voices at once. I'm going to go to some externals for this. I want to listen. I'm going to go to Bobbins and Nobbins in a bit, but KJ has obviously joined us. Welcome to the show. Welcome back after your break. And look, the goatie's back as well. You know, the goatie's
Yeah,
back.
bro. Hey, listen, growth, man, growth. I love it, man.
That bald face was freaking me out in Doha. bro.
Never again. I've
It's
never
funny
been
actually.
ever
Me and
again.
Jess were out for dinner the other day, and we were sitting there eating. We were like, "It's weird going out for dinner without KJ being with us." Like it really was. What do you think ahead of this North London derby? How do you see it going, KJ?
You know what? Yeah, you see, Jords. This guy loves to deflect. He never likes to reflect on himself. Man loves to chat about everyone else, say what's wrong with everybody else, but not look inside what's happening in his own home. And in his own home, you've got a man them running around ruining everything. You've got Conte in there doing foolishness. So he's breaking down the walls. He's breaking down the people. He's breaking down the players, saying in the name of I want standards. But bro, the way that they're playing football is not good. They're clear. I don't believe they're on his side. I don't believe they're fighting for him. Personally, I believe they're fighting for themselves because you can't keep playing that the way they're playing and always get results. At some point, it's just not going to work. And if you really fight for the manager, surely your results and your performances will be better. They're playing for themselves. They are playing for themselves at Spurs. Harry Kane is playing for himself. He wants that move. And I'm telling you now, Spurs are not winning that game. You will be, George, you will be celebrating a draw because when they are doing up the tiki-taka and you can barely get any shots off, you'll be fortunate when Harry Kane gets one goal and you'll be like, oh, we did good, man. Like, these are title challenges, Arsenal. Who are they? They come to our gaff, thought they can get away. Bruv, stop looking at other people. All I heard you chat about was Arsenal. How about you? Why can you win?
Enough, KJ. I already told you why we'd win. I told you about all the stats on why we would win. I told you about how they will never stop Harry Kane right now.
No, listen.
Harry Kane is going to take
look in the present, Mr. Present. Mr. Present. Let's look at the present. Look at the present. You guys are not in good form. You guys are not performing well. And you guys are scraping results here, there, and everywhere. And you're going against an Arsenal team that, as much as they are young and there's a chance they could bottle, every time someone says, this is the game, it's all going to collapse, they've risen to the occasion. So if we're going by the present, why would I not believe in Arsenal than Tottenham?
Because as we've all established, form goes out the window in the North London derby. We've shown that
I don't
many,
think
many
form
times. And
does,
Tottenham
to
have
be
been in
honest.
great form, and Arsenal have come to Tottenham and beat us when we've gone to Emirates. It happens all the time. So if you guys think that form plays into this North London derby, I honestly think you're lost because it just doesn't. It never has and never will.
But I'm not
Let me-
talking about form
let
though.
me
I'm
ask
not talking about the last 3-4 games. I'm talking about what the teams are.
One second.
This ain't form. Sorry, Igal. This ain't form from Arsenal. This is it. This is what they are. They've been showing this for over the last 18 months. They've had this
18
record.
months.
Yeah, yes. You
record?
clearly don't look at the league table enough. If you look at the matches over 18 months, they've been a really good team. They've been I think
Since
they've been a better
December
team.
of last
Over the past
season.
18 months, how
Since
many times have we
December
seen
of
them
last
crumble?
season, I think only Liverpool and Man City have gotten more points than us. So yes, it's been a while, boo. It's been a
You've got
while.
like
I'm
2
sorry.
more points than
I'm
us
sorry.
in that
It's been
period.
a
I really
while.
don't
Just
get
because
it.
this is the
Well-
thing. Just because you guys finished fourth last season, you guys pipped us to it, doesn't mean that we were not good in that moment. Like we still had young players. This is different. It's not the same. I'm sorry, it's not the same. I know you think, well, Kane's son, so we're gonna win whatever. We're gonna just do this. It's gonna be easy, but it's not gonna be easy. We're not
Jess.
just gonna roll over. Like
Jess.
it's not gonna happen.
Jess,
So
they
there you
don't
go.
have an identity. What are they good at? It's literally
Their identity
Kane
is
and-
bottle. What do you mean? Their identity is nothing.
Again, we've
No,
literally
it's no
Arsenal. No
titles,
team has
no
bottled the
trophies.
league more times than
It's
Arsenal.
trophies
Arsenal
are
No,
not
that's actually
important.
not
many
true.
times
It's
we've
actually
bottled it.
Liverpool, and they've also won it 20 times.
You're telling yourselves. Apart from the last couple of years where it happened with City, you have bottled the league time and time again. We've known this. We've
How
seen
are
this.
you
on the
talking about
road.
something you
said
haven't
all the
even been in the
time.
opposition?
So
opportunity
again,
to do?
you want to talk about all these title races. It's not. It's really not a trophy, Agal. Finishing second is no different to finishing fourth.
you wanna
Let's
know
And
get back
finishing
to it.
above Arsenal is
no
not a trophy either, which is what you were celebrating earlier. We finished above you all these times. It's not in your trophy cabinet. It's not anything.
And
It's
that's
wanna know
that's
something,
the
Jords?
only
You wanna
thing
know
that I
something,
said. That's the only thing you can celebrate this season.
I'm gonna step in again. We'll come back to it in a minute.
Okay.
Nobbins.
Hello.
Obviously, you have a genuine vested interest in this because I assume I don't think you want to draw. I think you're probably looking for a Spurs win to slow Arsenal down. How do you see this going, mate?
Yeah, so obviously definitely want Arsenal to lose. So Spurs, if you could do that, that'd be lovely. Thank you. I admire George's confidence, but I don't see it going any way other than an Arsenal win, to be honest. I think that this Arsenal side will that they are the real deal. They're at least going to finish second. And also just so I know the question wasn't directed to me, but George did ask the two Arsenal fans, if and when Arsenal don't win the league, what do you have? Well, first of all, they might win it. But secondly, what I would say is that Arsenal have clearly got an identity and a clearly defined future and strategy and a very good young Pep Guardiola disciple as a manager. While Spurs are I don't even know what Spurs are anymore. I still don't think they've recovered from the Pochettino, the post-Pochettino
They are
era.
social experiments. That's what they are.
It's funny.
Let's go! Come on!
They are at a social experiment to see how long you can
It's
deprive
funny,
They're
you know,
actively
deprive
being
a
replaced by
fan base of
Newcastle.
It's
trophies.
funny. It's funny
That
again.
spot
because
at the bottom
Nobbins,
left will be occupied by a
Nobbins,
Newcastle
you're
fan
very
next
aware
season.
of this Tottenham team, and no matter how bad we are, we get home wins against you, and we manage to beat City
Of
somehow
course,
every season.
Of course,
So you
that's
know
because
that
Tottenham you
Tottenham are a
have.
team that when we're in bad form, we are funny and we can turn up in these big games just like we always have. So
I'm not saying you won't at all, definitely, but I do think a large part of that, in the same way that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United was almost always able to get a result against City. It's the manner in which Spurs play just happens to be the perfect counter to how Guardiola and City set up. So I'm not sure I'd read too much into that. Look, I'd love it if Spurs get something from this game. I'd love it if they shithouse their way to a 0-0 draw or something like that. But I just can't see it being anything other than a relatively comfortable Arsenal win. I think it'll be tight, but yeah.
Yeah, George. So what you're saying is, if Spurs don't win, it's a disgrace. Because the way you're talking,
no.
the way you're
Let's get
talking,
something
you
straight.
sounded like
KJ. Again, if Spurs draw, I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be sitting here like just being like, oh, we walked away. They got something. I'm going to be disappointed in my team that we allowed them to get away with a point. But then on the back end of that, we're also going to be looking at the next games. And, I'll be like, we've got City coming up. Do I want to help them out against City? Nah, not really. But this is why this game is so big, because we know we've got City coming up. We need to get this win against Arsenal, because I would happily drop points in the City game. I want to beat Arsenal, then drop points in the City. I want them to go above. It's shameless. It is what it is.
Mad. See,
No,
George,
wait.
George.
No, wait. I get what you're saying. It's not.
You
I
heard
would happily.
Everyone slow down. Go on. So let George finish, please. Let George finish. Go on.
I'll happily beat Arsenal, then drop the points in the City game, because look, this works out for us both ways. I do not want to see Arsenal winning the title at any cost. If that means my team's dropping down the table from third to fourth, it is what it is. As I said, second and fourth, there's no difference. So
no, but there is a difference though, because if Man United beat City, you need to beat City, because you're playing catch up to Man United and Newcastle. Like, for me, something that I've seen Spurs fans accused of, and I think you've fallen foul to it there. Arsenal not winning something is more important than you winning. And for me, that's a bad I think your club has that mentality, and that's why you don't win trophies. As long as Arsenal fail, you're happy. And that's... Listen, I'm not going to lie. When Man United have been shit, seeing Liverpool miss out on a title, you take a little bit of celebration from it. But do you know what? When you stop laughing and you calm down, you almost have that, like, moment, because you're sort of like, I'm laughing at their failure, but where the hell am I? And this whole, like, fourth and second are the same thing. That's true to a degree if second and fourth are separated by a couple of points, but none of you are near the title race. If Arsenal come second, but they finish a point behind City on, say, City get 95 points and Arsenal get 94, to say you achieve nothing is a Fugazi argument. And I'll tell you why it's a Fugazi argument, because it means they're title contenders, and only one team can win the league every year. What big clubs demand, as in their fans, is that you're in title contention every year. If you're in title contention, you're a proper team. If you're in title contention for the Premier League every year, it means you've got a chance of winning every other cup that you're in as well. The best teams in the Prem are often some of the best teams in Europe, same as in La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga as well. So I think for me, like, you can't win a trophy every year, but what you want to be is competing. And I think Arsenal are where everybody in the Premier League wants to be. Top of the league, playing well and getting better. To say that if they don't win the league, this means nothing, I think that is a Fugazi argument. I think remember it though, Terry, because Tottenham done it. George, do you might not remember this individual season, but do you think Arsenal, if they don't win the league this year, are going to fall away next year and come seventh?
But again, Terry, look, no one remembers when Pochettino finished second in 2 seasons. Tottenham were top of the league across 2 seasons. We had the most amount. It doesn't mean nothing.
Hang on. That's only because you won nothing. If you'd have come second, but hang on, let me finish. If you'd have come second 2 or 3 times and finished in the top 4 every year, but you also picked up an FA Cup, you picked up 2 League Cups, you won the Champions League, then the body of work would be remembered. And the reason that you're saying it, Jords, and I'm not digging you out, the reason you're saying that is because your club doesn't win anything.
Arsenal haven't won nothing yet, though.
Under Arteta, they've won an FA Cup. Your point is, if they don't win the league this year and they fall away and win nothing else for 3 or 4 years, then your point stands to reason. But not winning the league this year is not an indication that they're not going to win.
That's true.
But it's not a celebration. It's nothing to celebrate. That's my point. You're treating it like it's something to celebrate.
That's the thing that
I think
you
can
guys
celebrate
are trying
progress.
to make it seem like it's just one season. Our player, this is still the youngest team in the league. We're going to get better. And in January, we're dropping 90 M's on a player. We are not you. We may be in the same proximity as you.
And
location.
Have you seen with Chelsea? Drop as much money as you can. It will not mean. It does not guarantee success.
It does when you have good recruitment and a good manager, and
you haven't seen enough of the player for you to say that's a guaranteed success.
It's been
he's gonna run over your right back. Okay.
The reason
Next time we play you and Mudryk is there, he's gonna run over your right back.
Guys, I'm going to interject. I need to go through some of these super chats. There's so many of them. I want to respect the viewers as best we can. We won't respond to all of these in massive detail. Others will be here until the derby kicks off on Sunday. But Marco here says Conte is one bad result from going to the shop for milk and never looking back. Arsenal can still win something if they foul on the league. 4 of the last 7 FA Cups, which is a massive achievement. Nabil here says, I'm sorry, this is the last chance for Arsenal to win the league. Man United and Liverpool with new owners, Newcastle and City. Once Newcastle get top 4, They aren't going down, just like City. Kroenke out coming soon. Nabil, what I would say is when Arsenal didn't get Champions League last year, the narrative was, that's it. They've got no chance of Champions League ever again. I get your point, but football doesn't always work like that. Small club mentality. I would never want Arsenal to lose regardless of the circumstances, is what Tap Out Tobes says here. Can't wait for Kane to Old Trafford. I'm going to run naked. Listen, when Harry Kane signs for United in the summer, it'll be amazing. I absolutely agree. But then you're an Arsenal fan saying that. That's weird because he can hurt you from there as well. Last year, Emery, Cedric, and Holding started. This time we have Partey, Saliba, Zinchenko. Also, when we finished top 4, the narrative was it's only trophies. Now the narrative is consistent top 4, is what Hill says here. Thank you very much. If KJ is saying Spurs is losing and drawing, then Spurs are definitely winning the game. Jess, whatever the result is, please show up. Can't wait. Look, Jess has got no issue. She will be there because she'll be in the studio with me on Sunday. We're back in the studio this week because I am feeling better. No heart attack going on. I keep saying that, and then I might have one, but no heart attacks happening. So we'll be in the studio on Sunday. Spurs still finding their trophy cabinet keys, and how are they waffling the words accomplishment and titles? Kane might even do a soul Campbell. No, listen, that will never happen. It would be hilarious though if it did. Can you imagine if he did a soul Campbell? The audacity of these Spurs fans. Your club shouldn't even be in the top 6. What have you accomplished apart from a new stadium and training facilities? Win some silverware first before you talk with that chest.
Thank you. I'm telling you, Spurs are a homeless man who laughs at rich people losing their home.
KJ,
That's what
man,
they
you're
are,
just
bro.
jealous, bro.
Jealous of what, fam? Why am I jealous of?
You had a few good.
Your stadium looks like a toilet bowl.
As that guy said,
KJ, I've got the best bold manager in the league.
Every time you say you think Spurs are
going
to lose, we go out there and win. So
I didn't say he's going to lose. I didn't say he's going to lose. I said you weren't going to win. You're going to draw, bro. It's going to be a draw. That's what I believe.
What have Spurs ever accomplished? That's to you, Jords. And you can't use history because you said history don't count.
So I don't get, like, what am I supposed to talk about? When am I supposed to speak about? What's the period?
No,
of
what
time?
are you supposed to talk
That
about?
makes no sense. We're talking about right now. No, wait. No, Terry.
Hang on, but
your question can't be loaded and say what has Spurs ever accomplished.
But what have they accomplished? Okay, no, the question to you is what have Spurs ever accomplished? But earlier on to me, you said I can't use history when I'm talking my Man United have got chess.
We was talking about the present and what's happening in the league right now. That's what we're talking about. If this is a question in general, I mean, you can't ask me.
Okay, so what have you ever accomplished? That's the question.
I mean, we've won plenty of trophies. As I say, the first team to win a European trophy. We're one of the only 2 teams on this panel to have a European trophy. That's what I'm talking about.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Arsenal got
that's not a trophy. It is. It's European trophies. You don't know about that.
I have to defend Arsenal on this, right? Because the Cup Winners' Cup, and the reason I'm defending Arsenal is not because it's Arsenal, it's because of Fergie. The Cup Winners' Cup was massive.
Aberdeen.
Let's please not play down how big that European trophy was. Yeah, that was a serious trophy in the day.
We have it too.
I know you do. I know you do. And you wouldn't give it up. Guys, sorry, I need to go through some more of these super chats here. Sorry, Gal. Last season at the Lane, we had Holding centre back, Cedric right back, El Neni at CDM, and no Zinchenko. You tell him, Jess. This year it says that North London Derby 21-22. Put the lineup in there. Thank you very, very much for doing that, my G. Spurs fan, are you talking rubbish? One day Arsenal are going to win at your ground. Records are there to be broken. History tells you that in any sport, is what Dinesh, who is a Liverpool fan, by the way, says there. Spurs fans, you'll need to calm down. Playing Hollywood football all season long will not take you guys anywhere. The ref will be in your side like always, is what Daniel believes. Reggie Perry says, please inform the Spurs that Holding and Cedric won't be in the starting 11. Tomiyasu won't be playing left back with a calf strain. El Neni will be watching from the bench, is what Reggie's got to say. Arsenal fans are confident here, which is also very, very good. Very, very good indeed. How is the guy in the turtleneck looking? In fairness, the turtleneck looks banging, bro. I'm going to say that the turtleneck is looking good there, Jords. It is. Combined 11 time. Combined 11. You're going to go.
I'm just going to say this because I got to go, Terry. But respect to Jords and all the Tottenham fans. But when we play you guys this weekend, it's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Everyone's going to be Conte out. You guys are going to be all screaming Levy out. Everything's going to be out. Because guess what? If Antonio Conte lets Arsenal get 6 points in their potential title winning season, that's a sackable offense. And I said it when Mikel Arteta was coming to Tottenham, and sorry, when you guys were coming to our house and you were top of the league last year. So you guys should feel that pressure and understand we're fighting for more than just what it is this season. It's not just a North London derby. We got bigger fish to fry. We're overlooking our North London derby rivals. Let's be honest. We don't care about you guys this season. We got bigger shit to worry about. Anyways, I'm out of here, people.
All right, mate. Speak to you soon,
See you,
Gal.
Gal.
Thank you very much indeed. The show has probably overran slightly. We'll get through this combined 11 and do the rest of these super chats for Arsenal and Tottenham. Who's in goal based on this season?
We'll give it to Ramsdale. I don't
Ramsdale,
even
yeah.
do that one.
I think
Hennessy
we've got- I
Hugo
think
is
it's
not
got to
getting in.
Ramsdale. Right back. It's got to go to Ben
Right.
White, hasn't it?
Yeah, we ain't got right backs.
Yeah,
We'll do
yeah. I
this
think
quickly.
everybody's going to agree with that one. A right-sided centre back.
Romero.
Saliba.
Saliba.
There's no
Yeah,
chance. There's really
Romero
no
is
chance.
not that
Saliba.
good, and there's a consensus among a lot of people that is true.
It-
Out of
it-
the
they're really
in the
not.
big six, he's one of the most
Off the back
overrated
of
by your
a World
fans.
Cup winning
No,
campaign.
for Argentina in 6-7 games was excellent. For Spurs, though, he's been
Just like Lloris. It's like
I
they're
mean,
completely different
playing
players
next
who
to
play for their
Dyer
country.
and Ben Davies doesn't help him at times, especially when you've got Emerson or Doherty on the right-hand side. It's a lot of pressure for a player like him, but he's handled it very well. And he is, and as we said, this isn't just on this season. Saliba's only just been good at the start of this season, and he's shown his shaky self,
Yeah, but-
like he did against Brighton. Silly business. So
But if we're going off other
I-
things,
Romero's
Saliba at Marseille and Saint Etienne were both still very good. So like
and Romero was amazing last season, and the season before that was the best defender in the Serie A.
amazing.
We-
Big
we-
words,
we-
Jordan. Big
we-
words. Big words.
I think because like he's amazing for you guys and your levels are low, it's like, well, of course he's better than everybody else. Just because he's good for you doesn't mean he's better than everybody else. But you know,
KJ, who are you voting for?
Saliba.
Saliba. I was going to go with Romero, so that's 3-2. So Saliba is in there. Left side is centre back.
Gabriel. It's not even
Yeah.
a contest.
Yeah, we ain't got.
Dyer?
Just for Romero, the other two are rubbish. No.
No.
Forget that.
No
guy.
Dyer. No Dyer. Okay, Gabriel's in
Dyer
there.
was cool.
Left back. Perisic or Zinchenko?
Yes, Perisic.
Uh,
He's shown that
I think
his forward
Perisic.
contribution has been amazing this season, and I know defensively not that great at times, but the amount of assists he's got speaks for itself.
Yeah,
I could be Terrace for now. We haven't had a consistent left back so far this season, but by the end of the season, it'll be Zinchenko.
Okay. What formation are we doing here? 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3?
Yeah, it's the same. It's basically the same thing. So
4-3-3. Okay. So who's playing DM role?
Thomas
Partey.
Partey. Next.
Thomas. Okay. Right.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I mean, the next player we're playing is
Right side is right sided midfielder. What began with?
Bensko.
Odegaard.
It's been Bensko.
Odegaard.
Oh, please. Oh, please.
Wait,
Odegaard.
No.
Odegaard. You
can
can
go
put Bentancur on the other
wherever else
side,
you wanna
but
put
it's
it, but
Odegaard is in there.
Bensko is
Period.
100% inside this midfield. I don't know how you're working the free or the free of
the
midfield,
three
but
don't matter to
Bensko-
me.
Odegaard
I don't
plays
mind
right
Odegaard
sided
being in
8
there,
for
But
Arsenal.
I'm telling you, I don't mind where you put Odegaard, but Bensko is in this.
Okay.
Oh, it has,
midfield 100%.
here's the question though. Has Xhaka been better than Bentancur?
Xhaka's been
No
brilliant.
way.
You see what I'm saying?
Xhaka's been better than Bentancur, but they won't survive this, y'all, if they don't get one of their raggedy midfielders in the middle of the park. So let's give them
It just shows a clear lack of watching Tottenham if you don't think that Bensko goes in the team. And even if you
Well,
saw
excuse
in
me
the
for
World
saving my
Cup as well,
eyesight because
again,
I want to have.
in the Europe for
I need to
Uruguay, he was
protect
one of
my
the
eyes,
best
but yeah, I
midfielders
don't
of the
watch
whole of
you
the
guys.
Why
World
are
Cup.
you using your players' performances in
Because it was
countries
of the
that
last
you've got no
month,
business
KG.
being in?
It's
We're talking about
season.
Spurs,
It's
my
this
brother.
season.
Spurs
The
and
World Cup is
Arsenal,
part
my
of
friend.
this season, unfortunately.
season,
They
bruv.
played that last month.
Listen, when they say this season, they ain't talking about no damn World Cup. They're
Of
talking
course
about
we
the
are. It's part of
bloody.
the season.
Listen, they're talking about in the Premier League, and in the Premier League,
Part of the
man like
season,
Granit
KJ.
Xhaka has been mad. I'm not even gonna lie.
It's an all
I love the
Arsenal
clown.
midfield, I think.
Huh?
I think it's an all Arsenal midfield.
I can't
Midfield
disagree.
is one of your lowest points. Like we all know that when we start
And
talking about
Bensko is one
Tottenham,
of the
we're
best
really
points
talking
of our
about the
team,
top
but
end of the
We'll see.
pitch.
We'll
So
see when
let's
he
move
plays.
on.
Okay, so central up front. Are we going Harry Kane or Gabriel Jesus? I'm gonna
No,
go
Harry
with
Like Eddie and Kedia,
Kane.
man.
Kane.
So Harry Kane. Are we going with Harry Kane?
Definitely.
Your defense is in trouble, and can you see?
Is that your
Okay.
tune for him? Oh Lord.
Yeah,
You haven't heard it? Hey,
No, man, no.
Wait, it's like I think it's like an African singer or something, and he's just. I'm not going to put the accent on, but he's singing it with an African accent. It's actually a brilliant song.
All
It's
right,
so
let me
good.
hear
I
that.
was
Right hand side, Saka or Kulusevski, Jords?
Do you know what? Yeah, I like what Saka's been doing. I do, but Kulusevski's had better performances. He hasn't contributed more goals, but and I know he's been out at times. But performances, Saka was very low at the start of the season. He wasn't playing that good. He did get better as the seasons got along, and as of recent, he's been all right. But Kulusevski's been consistent whenever he's played, and he's been one of the best creators for Tottenham. Without Kulusevski in our attack, as you've seen, the attacks looked a bit shabby. He's been amazing.
Good. Again, good for you is not better than other people because your
He's been
standards
better
are
than
quite low.
Saka again.
So he hasn't been because first of all, he's been injured for a lot of the season. So let's get that right. Saka has more goals, more assists than him. And even when he wasn't playing well at the beginning of the season, when he started out slow, he was still contributing goals and assists. So Saka's better.
We watch
Sorry.
football with our eyes. We don't watch it with the calculator, Jess. That's the difference.
I mean, Saka passes the eye test as well.
It's the
He's
answer
not,
Saka.
he not only
hasn't all
has the
season, he
goals and
hasn't.
assists
At
to
the
back it
start
up,
of the
he
season,
passes the eye
listen.
test.
Listen, Saka's been brilliant. And because, again, I talk about Spurs being a homeless man. Sometimes you walk past them and you actually want to give them something, innit? Like give them a bit of food, give them a bit of money. So I want to give him something, and I want to give him Kulu because I like Kulu. Kulu's a really good footballer, excellent player. Saka has been better than him. But again, like the homeless man that Spurs are, I need to give them a little something for them to survive the night. So I'm with Jords. I'm going Kulu.
KJ, man, you sound like a big hater. You sound jealous.
No, I like Kulu, bro.
Look,
I
like Kulusevski as well, but I can't not vote for Bukayo Saka.
Even if you add his World Cup performances, right? Because we're adding those in there as well. Kulusevski wasn't even at the World Cup. So what are we talking about?
What did Bukayo do in the World Cup? England were poor.
He scored 3 goals.
England were poor.
What is happening right now?
No, it is. George is not.
I'm
George is
not
not
about
England,
England, fam. England were rubbish.
But wait. So because you
Okay, well, Uruguay were rubbish. So let's just say Bentancur didn't do anything then, right? Because
it's once he got injured that they were rubbish. They were good before then, but
my word.
This is
Okay.
insane.
England only were rubbish after your captain skied the penalty, bro. We were good up until that point. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what you're saying there.
And I'm glad that he done that because it does all. You England fans don't get to celebrate nothing.
You
Yeah,
England
again,
fans, you're
amazing.
English, bruv. You're English.
You don't have to support them though.
But you're English. You know what I mean?
I don't
You're
support
English.
no international team like that. So, and England, I hate them. I hate England. I hope they lose in the World Cup. So, I hate that. I generally hate because of how much every season we go in. They're gonna win. It's coming home. I hate that stuff.
Guys, imagine being optimistic. Oh my god.
It's coming
Give me a
home.
break.
How many times
Come
you made a
on.
song? How many times you made a song and seen your team lose?
George, you do realize that song, right? If you actually listen to Badil and Skinner and the Lightning Seeds, they wrote it. It's a piss take out of how bad we've been.
Exactly.
When an England fan says
every other song,
when an England fan says it's coming home, what we're really saying is we ain't gonna fucking win this, are we? The fact that people misconstrued it as serious is crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, we're going to topic. Who's on the left-hand side of the attack? Because so far this is the team.
We even talking about this?
This is the team so far, and so far we have one. We've got Perisic and Kane. There's only 2 Tottenham players in it. Who's on the left-hand side? Is it Son or is it Martinelli?
It's Martinelli.
This season it's Martinelli, yeah.
If we're doing just this season, like you said, you change the parameters as the show went on. So if it's just this season, I'll have to go Martinelli. But if we're talking about class, and I mean, there's nothing you can take away from Son. So
yeah, I ain't got no more.
Well, you can't take away trophies from him, can you?
Yeah. I've got no more change for Spurs, man. Them man are gonna have to shove it in the cold.
But do you know what I would say though, Jords? This has worked into your favor. Looking at this combined 11, if Arsenal don't win, I mean, Arsenal are the favourites based on this combined 11.
Then you get to banter us badly. So there.
Like, I would take it. I'd be like, yeah, well, you should be winning now. I mean, it's mad.
We should be.
Combined 11 be nothing. Last season they done the same thing. They put ESR in over Son.
True. That what I would say. One of the questions we were going to ask tonight, there just hasn't been the time for it. Was right now who's the better manager, Arteta or Conte? But we'll talk about that, and we'll probably talk about it on the reaction show, as it were. Score predictions, people, before the last super chat. We didn't even do the Manchester derby. It's been a mad show. Jess, North London derby, score predictions. Talk to me. Talk to me.
Yeah, I think we'll leave in there with some, but I'm going to be confident. 2-1 Arsenal. You'll get your penalty, and that's it.
AJ?
All right, listen. I have no dog in this fight. So I want pure chaos. I believe there's gonna be pure chaos because it's a North London derby at Spurs' ground. 3-3 draw. Let's go, man. It's gonna be absolute epic.
Nobbins?
I'd love Spurs to win or get a draw, but I think it's going to be 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Jords?
2-1. We're gonna go there. Kane's gonna score 2 goals, get a brace, take us to the win, and he's gonna be on 200 goals only with Rooney and Henry, breaking records. Tottenham's all-time top goal scorer. It's made to happen.
I know. Listen, and Kane could become Tottenham's greatest ever goal scorer this weekend. I think he'll break Premier League goal scoring records. I just pray he wins trophies because I want him to be a football legend, and you can't be a football legend without one. So Harry Kane, please do your thing. My score prediction is
I was going to say, he is going to start winning trophies when he moves to Manchester United. You don't have to worry about that.
Yes. My prediction is 2-1 as well. I'm going 2-1 to Arsenal. Set up my prediction earlier. I think tactics are overrated in this game. We know what's going to happen. Spurs will come out strong in the first 10 minutes, then start to sit back. The counter-attack will be on. It's all about concentration. This game will be won on mistakes. The team that makes the most amount of mistakes loses. And I know that sounds like a cliche and an obvious thing, but this is about mentality, this game. And I see Arsenal coming out on top because Spurs are petrified of Arsenal right now because they know the power shift is over. So I'm going to go with 2-1 win to Arsenal. North London, the Manchester derby predictions. Jess, what are you going with?
I'm going to go with a 2-0 United win.
KJ?
Someone's drunk because no, we're drawing 1-1. That's gonna be it, man.
Nobbins?
Yeah, 1-0 is also my prediction. It's going to be a tight game. I think Pep will be happy with a point.
Jords?
2-1 City.
I'm going 2-1 in this game as well. I am going to be confident and go 2-1 City. That's what I'm going to go with. And the reason I'm saying that on camera is because if I predict it the other way, we lose. So I'm going 2-1 City. 2-1 City.
Yeah, don't be judged today. Let's go.
Every time I predict the team I want to win, we lose. So I'm going 2-1 City is my prediction. So come on, United. Let's see what happens. I've got to get through these super chats here. I don't want to disrespect them. Bison here says, a lot of people are forgetting with the new Champions League rule, fifth might qualify for the fifth will qualify for the Champions League next season. Levy and SFG are doing their best this window to get fifth. Joshua Jack says, Kaz, didn't you predict Chelsea second with Potter? Listen, I predicted Chelsea third at the beginning of the season. We've all fallen foul to that bad boy. Who was appointed sporting director with no experience? Who's signing flops? Who sacked Tuchel? Who hired Potter? The common denominator is Bowley. Yeah, I hear you on that. Kaz, soft spot, that wound is open. Rub that kilo sort. Kick them to the curb and end them. We need that bastard mentality again. Glory, glory, Man United. Fans neglect the average advantage of playing at home. United 2-0 for me. That's what's been said here. I just want to see Arsenal go to Spurs, getting 3 points, and maybe a draw against City, and United will do us good. Isn't it amazing how Arsenal and Man United fans are kind of friendly this weekend, but by next weekend it's going to be carnage. City haven't looked at their best, and the biggest reason for that is they haven't been able to play in the same back four for 2 games on a row. Big up is what Bison B says here. Mahrez on the right, Rashford on the left. I agree. Terry Grealish has missed 5 games and City lost 3 of them and only scored 4 goals in those 5 games, whereas when he has played, City have only lost 1 game. So I'll take a look at that. I always like to be educated. Thank you, sir. Ironically, Spurs fans saying Arsenal finished second means nothing still. Brags about their biggest achievement, Champions League final, is what Gunners Forever says. Thank you, Gunner Forever. 24 most goal and goal involvements midfielders in the league this season has been voted player of the month in the Eredivisie, La Liga, and Premier League, as in Martin, that's for Odegaard there. This Spurs fan is shameless, is what Levi Cumberbatch says. Harry Kane's biggest achievement is being in this combined 11, and Perisic in a back four would be horrendous. I hear you on that. It doesn't need functionality, but it's just the way it's got to be picked. I want to say thank you to everyone who's tuned in. A big shout out to NordVPN for sponsoring us today. Scan that QR code now. Make sure you've got yourself signed up and protected when using the internet online. Plus, there's some nice ways of saving some money using it as well. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.